Hey everyone, welcome into March of 1993. We're starting the morning out doing our chores, and things have gone relatively well this winter. We've had quite a few baby calves born, we've had a few baby goats born. Our milk production is up for both the goats and the cattle. We sold off 9 head of goats this winter, sold off all of our stock bales, the majority of our alfalfa bales, and things have gone quite well. Now, financially, it doesn't look great. We're down to 13,000, but our milk is almost keeping up with our monthly expenses here, and we only have one more year of the extra payments on the 25,000 I had to take out for last year. So that monthly expense will drop, and things will start to get a little better here. But all in all, even though financially it doesn't look great, I feel pretty good about where we're at. We've got a lot of corn and a lot of beans to sell. We didn't sell anything over the winter because the bottom just absolutely fell out of the market. Corn was down below $2 a bushel. Beans were way down, so we've been holding on to our corn and beans, waiting for prices to come back up. Now, I hope they come back up soon because it's getting, a little dicey here with our financials. But I'm going to hold out as long as I can until I can at least, sell our crops for what we sold them for last year. So I did end up going ahead and chisel plowing all 3 of our fields last fall. And with how bad we are hurting financially, I am not going to be putting anhydrous on our corn ground this year. I am going to go ahead and put some slurry down. We already put manure down on it. And I'm hoping, we're going to risk that there's going to be enough nitrogen down to make that corn grow. It's very risky not putting anhydrous down, but we kind of don't have a choice here. So we're going to grab the pickup, load up with the goat milk, load up with the cow milk, and get that hauled into town here. All right, we got all the milk loaded up. We've got 117 gallons of goat milk, and we've got 1,963 gallons of cow milk. So we'll get these run into the creamery here and get them sold off. All right, we're down here at the creamery. We'll go ahead and get the goat milk sold off first. All right, and that was $1,000 too much, so we'll pull $1,000 back here. All right, we got that 1,000 pulled back, so we're at 13,871. Now we'll go ahead and get our cow milk sold off here. All right, and that was $1,600 too much, so we'll go ahead and get that pulled back. So that puts us at 17,698. That's a pretty good sell there. We're doing that about every month right now. Now, I'm sure here later into the summer, it's, going to dip again like it did last year. But as of right now, we're, making a pretty decent amount of money off of our milk. That's very, very good. Now, we still don't have a whole lot of fat cattle to sell, but all in all, that's okay. We're, still very much trying to build the herd. We're not to our, final herd size by any means. So right now it's just the bull calves that are born that get sold off, and we haven't had a whole lot of bull calves born last year. We had a lot of females, which is good for building the herd, but not great for, selling for fat cattle. So we're going to go ahead and get back here to the home place. And we need to get the 4-wheel drive hooked up to the slurry tanker and start spreading some slurry on our big field. All right, we got our slurry tanker loaded up here. We'll go ahead and drive down the road here to our big field and start spreading. Now, my 1586 might have enough power to pull this, but I don't think it will, and it most definitely won't through the plowed ground. But we want to get this down before we cultivate. That way we can also get this worked into the ground, make sure, you know, we're giving our crop the best opportunity to get nitrogen. And yeah, it is definitely a little nerve-wracking trying to get this done without anhydrous. It is risky, but hopefully there's enough nitrogen content between the manure and the slurry that we get a good crop this year. Alright, we got all of our slurry spread on this field, so we're now ready to cultivate. And we've got 3 fields that need to be cultivated, so this is going to take up a good portion of the day. But it's something that absolutely has to be done. Otherwise, we really can't plant. Planting into chisel plowed ground is not going to work with the planter that we have. So we need to get this into a nice smooth seed bed here. And as you can see, you know, this cultivator does a wonderful job creating a very nice seed bed, which is optimal for germination for our crops. So we'll hammer out these 3 fields here and see how long this takes us. I'm guessing, I don't know, 3.5, maybe 4 hours. All right, well, we got all 3 fields cultivated. I went ahead and finished this one in the rain. You know, probably not the smartest thing in the world, but we got it done anyway. So we'll go ahead and get this thing put away here. Do some maintenance on both. Oof. My vehicle maintenance is starting to get very expensive. My 1586 was almost $1,000 after doing all that chisel plowing with it. But yeah, we'll go ahead and get all this put away, and I will see you guys in April. All right, welcome into April, everyone. It is a beautiful April morning here in Iowa Plains View. It's 1993, and we are ready to plant this month. But we've got some chores we got to get done, some animals we got to get moved, milk we got to sell, so we got plenty of things to get done this month before we even get started into our field work here. And like always, we'll start out by feeding our cattle first. And then we can move on to hauling our milk and moving animals. We've got a few cattle that need to be moved into our fat cow pen. And I still need to check on our goats, but I do believe we might have a few goats that are ready to sell. It's either this month or next month. And so we've got plenty that is going to keep us very busy here on the farm. Now we're down to $10,000. Our milk production is down slightly from last month, but that's okay. All right, we got 120 gallons of goat milk and 1,786 gallons of cow milk. So we are down slightly from last month on the cow milk, but we are up slightly on the goat milk. So we'll get these run to town, get them sold off. Then we need to get some cows moved. Or I should say we need to get some fat steers moved, and then we do not have any goats that need to be moved or sold for a couple of months, actually. They're only at 4 months old, so we've got, you know, anywhere between 2 and 8 months to get them sold off, so we're not going to worry about them this month. We've got far too much other stuff to keep us busy. All right, we're down here at the creamery. We'll sell the goat milk first. All right, that is $900 too much, so we'll pull $900 back here. All right, now we can get the cow milk sold here. All right, and that is $1,112 too much, so we'll pull that back here. All right, so that puts us at $14,174. So we'll head back. We'll get those cattle moved down into the fat cow lot, and then we can start into planting. All right, we got 6 bull calves on here that are ready to be weaned, so we'll get them down into the fat cattle lot, and they will be fed up as fat cattle and eventually sold here in another year and a half or so. And I do have to say, honestly, buying this pickup over the one I had to begin with was life-changing on this farm. Being able to hook up to the milk trailer, having it hook up to, the stock trailer here, considering the other one wouldn't hook up to this pickup either. This has made a drastic difference in what I can and can't do. So we will get all of these guys moved over to the fat cattle pen here. And there we go. If we jump out and take a quick look here, you can see this pen is starting to fill up quite well. Now we've got a couple that are getting close. Got a few months to go yet, but they're getting very close to being sold off. So we'll go ahead, get this thing put away, and it is time for planting. This is going to be a very exciting planting season this year, as our big field is going to be switched over to corn, and our two little fields will be beans. And I'm very, very excited to see just how much corn we can get off of this big field. Alright, we're going to go ahead and start in our big field here. So we got the planter fired up, we'll get it dropped down. And like always, we need to use our row marker, since we do not have GPS in our tractor. And we'll hammer out this big field. This is going to take a few hours here. So I will catch up to you guys when we get this field finished. Alright, and we are finishing up planting our cornfield here. Didn't take quite as long as I thought it would. That's a very good thing. So we'll get this planter folded up. We'll get the corn seed emptied out of here. Get everything switched over to beans. And we can start planting beans. Now we also have some stuff we got to do in town today. I got a phone call from our salesman. And we need to go look at a new mower. I think this new mower, or it's new to it'll be new to us anyway. It is used, but we're going to go take a look at it and see if I like it. And we might end up with a new mower before we mow next month. But the first things first, we got to get planting done. All right, we've got our planter all switched over to beans. So we'll go ahead and start planting here in our newest field, and then we can work our way over into the other small field. And both of these will be beans. Definitely won't take us too long to get these fields planted here. So we'll get these hammered out, and I'll catch up to you guys when we are finished. All right, we got all of our planting done. We are ready to spray some herbicide, but first, I'm going to run the rake into town, and we're going to trade it in on a different mower. The dealer called. They have one heck of a deal for me, so I'm sure probably going to be end up getting the short end of the stick here, but we're going to take the rake to town, see what they're going to give me, and take a look at a new mower here. While we're in here at the dealer, we're going to go ahead and see what I can get for trade-in on this mower. All right, we're going to get $9,964. So we'll go ahead and sell that. And we'll go take a look in the shop here at the new mower. And here's our new mower. We've got an International 5000 self-propelled mower, and it comes with a nice big header. It's almost twice as wide as the mower that we just sold, and we got one heck of a deal on it here. So as you can see, we're down to $13,712. So it really only cost us a couple $100 after trade-in. So that is absolutely fantastic. But we're going to leave this here for now. I'm going to run back home. We need to get our spraying done. We don't need that mower until next month. So it can sit here until we get all of our field work done. Well, we're back here at the home place. We're going to go ahead and get our field sprayed. We're starting out with our big corn field here, and then we will move on to our two small soybean fields and get those hammered out. So I will see you guys when we get this done. Welcome into May, everyone. We went ahead and got all of our fields sprayed. Everything went very well. And it worked out that I overbought the year before, so we didn't have really any extra input costs this year because we had already bought all of our seed and herbicide and used our fertilizer from the manure and slurry. So didn't really have a whole lot of input costs this year, thank God, because money is very, very tight. But we have a very busy month ahead of us here. We have a lot of chores we got to get done. We got to get 2 loads up here to the dairy barn. We need to get a load of feed into our fat cattle lot. We've got 3 fat cattle we need to get sold. We've got baling that needs to get done. Our goats need to be fed a bale of hay. And we've got beans that need to get sold this month. So we have a lot of work ahead of us. And milk. I almost forgot that we have milk that we got to sell this month as well. Don't know how I spaced that one off. Just have to sell it every month. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and sell off the milk as well. So we've got more than enough to keep us busy here in the month of May. But first things first, we have got to get these chores done. All right, we got both loads up to the dairy barn. This load's going over to our fat cattle. And we're almost done with the silage out in the driveway. That has gone way farther than I had originally thought it would. You know, maybe we honestly might not have needed to chop silage last year, but that's okay. I'd never ever want to run out like we did the first year, so I'm making sure that we do not ever run out of silage again. Alright, we picked up a bale of hay here. We're going to get this hauled over to our goats, get them fed, and our morning chores will be finished. Alright, we got them their bale of hay. And you can see this pen is really, really starting to fill up. We've got a lot of goats out here. We got a lot of money sitting out there. But everybody is very healthy. All the babies are very happy playing. So it can't get much better than this for our goats. But we'll go ahead, get the pickup, and we can get our milk hauled. And then we got some cattle to sell, so still plenty of work to get done yet. All right, we got 117 gallons of goat milk and 1,575 gallons of cow milk. So we'll get these both run into the dairy here, get them sold, and adjust price accordingly. All right, we're down here at the creamery. We'll get the goat milk sold off first. All right, we are $800 too much, so we will get that pulled back here. All right, now we'll go ahead and sell the goat or the cow milk here. All right, and that is $825 too much, so we'll pull that back. All right, so that puts us at $14,277. So we'll run home, get the stock trailer hooked up, and get our 3 fat cattle loaded up and hauled down to the animal dealer to get sold off. All right, we got our 3 fat cattle loaded up here, so we'll get them run down to the animal dealer, get them sold off, and then we can get into mowing and mowing our alfalfa and getting it turned into some hay here. All right, we're down here at the animal dealer. We'll go ahead and get these cattle sold off here. We got them sold off, and we need to pull back $5,440. All right, and that puts us at $17,932. So this has been a pretty profitable month, and I'm very happy with that. And we're not going to start mowing yet. We got beans to sell yet. Holy crap, I completely forgot about the beans. So we'll go ahead and get those beans sold next, and then we can get to our mowing. All right, we got our first load of beans on the truck here, so we'll run this down to the co-op and get it sold off. All right, we're getting pulled in here into the co-op. So we'll go ahead and get these 750 bushels sold off and adjust the price accordingly here. All right, so we need to pull back 32,834. All right, so we're going to make this trip, I don't know, 4 or 5 times here, and I'll catch up to you guys on the last load. All right, we're pulling into the co-op here with our last load of beans. Little short, but that's okay. All right, we'll go ahead and get these sold off. All right, we need to pull back $30,259. All right, so that puts us at $37,245. I am very, very happy with that. So we're going to head home, and now we can finally get started mowing our alfalfa with our brand new, to us, International 5000 mower. All right, we got the mower out of the shed, or I should say swather, I guess. The swather out of the shed here. We'll get the head hooked up, and I don't think I mentioned when we bought it, this thing is very high hours. It's got 51 hours on it, so in game that's, you know, a ridiculous amount. And part of the reason why it was so cheap. The head is also very used. So we've got probably a very high maintenance cost machine here, but we should be able to mow our alfalfa significantly faster using this, and like I said, it only costs us a couple $100 to get this machine, and our 1066 is also getting an incredible amount of hours on it, so that's also part of it. Was buying this saves a couple hours every year just not mowing with the 1066. And of course, the obvious convenience of a self-propelled mower definitely outweighs a pull-type mower. So we'll get this thing fired up, drop it down, and see how it goes here for our first time mowing alfalfa with it.
This California weather, it's like 90 degrees. It's making me hot, and he has the same effect on me. It's just something about the way that he's making me feel. My insides are out, I just wanna shout his name. My body's giving up on me, 'cause I don't know what to do with my fingertips. I wanna run through his hair, but I'm trying not to stare. I get a little starstruck when I see him. I couldn't hate him even if I tried. Am I a little crazy to believe that I could wake up with him by my side? I know I could get his attention if I worked it all out. And we got a little tipsy on a Saturday night. Yeah, I want him and I need him. He's got a one-way ticket to my heart. Ticket to my heart. He's got a one-way. Move a little closer without letting him see. My hands are shaking from the urge of being with him. I act a little dumber when I try to get his number. I'm so nervous that I'm losing grip of myself. My body's giving up on me, 'cause I don't know what to do with my fingertips. I wanna run him through his hair, but don't stare. I get a little starstruck when I see him. I couldn't hate him even if I tried. Am I a little crazy to believe that I could wake up with him by my side? I know I could get his attention if I worked it all out. And we got a little tipsy on a Saturday night. Yeah, I want him and I need him. He's got a one-way ticket to my heart. Ticket to my heart. He's got a one-way. This California weather, it's like 90 degrees. It's making me hot, and he has the same effect on me. I act a little dumber when I try to get his number. I'm so nervous that I'm losing grip on myself. I get a little starstruck when I see him. I couldn't hate him even if I tried. Am I a little crazy
are done mowing. That, holy crap, that went fast. That was so much faster than the old mower. So we did that in less than a half an hour, and yeah, it's almost twice as wide, and instead of running at 7 mile an hour, we're running at about 10. So yeah, we can cover way more alfalfa ground now compared to where we were, and that is absolutely fantastic. So we're going to go ahead and get this thing cleaned up, put away. Unfortunately, the head does not fit in any of my sheds, so it does have to sit outside, which is unfortunate, but that's okay. At least the machine itself will fit inside. All right, and it was $16 for getting the machine and the head fixed up there, so not too bad considering the amount of hours, but considering we ran less than half an hour, that is quite expensive. So that's something we will have to keep in mind, is this is definitely going to be an expensive piece of equipment to run. But all in all, we only run it, twice a year. So a little higher maintenance cost isn't that big of a deal. All right, we got the tedder out, and this thing is wide enough we can hit 2 of our swaths here in one pass. So we can cover a lot of ground doing it this way, as opposed to, having to cover every inch of the field. So we'll hammer this out quick and get switched over to the rake. The forecast just shows that it's only cloudy. It's not showing any rain, but boy, it sure looks like it's going to rain. So hopefully, if it does rain, it waits until we get this field done, because I don't need rain on our, freshly cut alfalfa here. All right, we got the field tedded, we got it raked, ran to town, bought some more bale wrap, and we are ready to go. So we'll get this thing fired up. We'll drop it down. I got the bale counter reset so we can see how many bales we get off this field now that it's fully limed, fertilized, all of that good stuff. So at this point, I don't remember how many bales we got off of it. I think it was like 50 some last time it was fully fertilized. So I'm guessing we'll be somewhere around 50 bales this time around. And that's okay, because we definitely need to sell a lot of bales this winter. Make sure that, we keep moving in the right direction. This month was very good. We made a lot of money this month. First time we've had, like a really profitable month. And definitely want to make sure that we keep moving in the right direction. So we're going to go ahead and make as many bales as we can moving forward here. All right, and that is our last bale, so we ended up with 47 bales. Perfect. Did have to go back and reload with some bale net halfway through, but no big deal. So we'll go ahead and get these 47 bales picked up, get them stacked up, put away, and we can go ahead and fertilize that field. We're going to go ahead. I am going to go ahead and spread manure on our alfalfa field. Make sure we can, get another 47 bales off of it on our next cutting. All right, we got our manure spreader loaded. We're going to go ahead and get this alfalfa field covered here. And this will probably be it for the month of May. We got quite a bit done here. I'm very happy with where we're at. And we have corn that we need to get sold in June. So I will see you guys in June when we're ready to sell our corn. Welcome into June, everyone. We've already got all of our chores done this morning, and we're now pulling into the creamery here with our milk to get sold. We've got 125 gallons of goat milk and 1,422 gallons of cow milk. So we'll go ahead and get this goat milk sold first, and we need to pull back $800. All right. We got that, so now we'll go ahead and sell our cow milk here. All right, we need to pull back $750 for this. All right, so we're at $36,480. That is very good. We'll go ahead and get this taken back, get it parked, or get the milk trailer parked, I guess. And we need to get the semi out because we have corn we need to get sold this month. All right, we got our first load of corn on the semi here, so we'll get this run down to the co-op and get it sold and adjust the price accordingly. All right, pulling into the co-op here. Go ahead and get this 750 bushels of corn sold off. If I can stop, there we go. All right, we need to pull back $16,482. All right, so that puts us at $38,468. So we'll have another full load and then a partial, and that'll be all of our corn hauled. All right, we're pulling into the co-op here, and I miscounted. We had 3 full loads and then this partial. So that was a pleasant surprise, a little extra money coming in. So we've got 408 bushel on this load. We'll go ahead and get this unloaded. All right, we need to pull $9,000 back. All right, and that puts us at $43,568. That is absolutely wonderful. So we will head back to the home place. Well, when I was getting ready to pull out of the co-op, I ran into Walter, and I asked him if he was interested in selling this alfalfa field that is right next to our bean field here. And he said he would be interested in selling it. So I told him I'd check it out, see what I thought, and I think we're going to buy it. So it is June of 1993. This is 9.87 acres. You don't just pay for the field area, you got to pay for the whole bit of land, including the trees and the headlands and everything. So it's 9.87 acres. The average crop, or the average land price per acre was $1,275 back in 1993. So that makes this $12,584. So we're for sure going to be buying this. So the plan going forward, I'm going to mow the alfalfa this year, and I'll get one really early mowing off of it next year. And then we're going to combine this with our current bean field and make it one big field. We're going to add a lot of acres coming up here, and that is absolutely fantastic. It's going to give us a lot more corn acres next year than... Welcome into August, everyone. It is August of 1993. We're starting the morning out here doing our morning chores, getting our cattle fed. We've had a few babies born here in the last couple of months, which is fantastic. Our milk production has dipped, just like it did last year. However, our goat milk is still on the rise. They are still producing more every month. Now, they're not producing a lot, but it is going in the right direction, at least. So we're going to go ahead and get these cattle fed. Then we've got milk that we need to get sold. And you can see we're down to $20,000. So I did go ahead and purchase that field from Walter with the alfalfa in it. And I also went ahead and paid off the loan that we took out for our production costs a couple of years ago. Paid it off early, so that loan is no longer active, which is very, very nice. However, we do have another loan. I took out a $51,663 loan, and we purchased another field from Walter. Walter said he's getting old and wanting to slow down a bit, so I threw out a bid on his field that's right next to our big field, and he accepted. So we took out a loan on it, and it is a 10-year loan, so we're going to be paying on it for quite a while, but I believe it is 100% worth it. And we will be harvesting it this year, so it's got soybeans in it. So that's going to, really, really add to the amount of soybeans we have this year, which is absolutely fantastic. But I'm going to go ahead and get this feed wagon parked up here, out of the way, and then we got milk that we need to get hauled here. We've got hay, and we've got a whole bunch of alfalfa that we need to get mowed down this month and taken care of. So we've got plenty of work to do here. All right, we've got 168 gallons of goat milk, and we've got 1,071 gallons of cow milk. So we'll get these run into the creamery here and get them sold off. All right, we're down here at the creamery. We'll go ahead and get this goat milk sold off first. All right, we need to take $1,249 off here. All right, now we'll go ahead and sell the cow milk. And we need to take $682 off for the cow milk. All right, so that leaves us at $23,158. That's very, very good. I'm very happy with that. So we'll head back, and we need to get ready to start mowing alfalfa. All right, we got our international 5,000 out here. We're going to go ahead and start mowing down our alfalfa. And if we look across the road here, you can see the bean field that we bought. That is a very, very big bean field. It's, well, let's just jump out and take a look. So if we take a look here, you can see it's 40.52 total land acres, and the field is currently 31.55 acres. So we expanded, our operation quite a bit here this year. That's a little over 50 acres that we've expanded. So very, very excited about this. But we won't be able to combine those beans for a couple of months yet, so we need to go ahead and get our alfalfa knocked down here. We'll get this fired up, drop it down. And this is our first cutting in the new alfalfa field. All right, we got this field finished. So we'll head over to our original alfalfa field here and get it mowed down. And I can't wait to see how many bales we actually get off these two fields. It should be quite a few. I'm hoping, somewhere around 80, maybe 90 bales. That would be really good if we could get, that many bales off of this cutting. And we'll have, an early cutting off this field next year. So that's going to be absolutely fantastic as well. But first, we need to get this other field knocked down, and then we can get to tedding both of them. All right, we're over here at the other field. Go ahead and get this fired up, get it dropped down. And I'm still getting used to the steering, as you can see, but we'll get this field knocked out pretty quick. This is definitely going, much, much faster than the old mower. So I'm very, very happy about that. And we've already put almost an hour on this thing. All right, got a little cleanup here on the spot that I missed, and we'll be done mowing. So we can go ahead to get this drug back to the home place, get it cleaned up, get it put away for the year, because we will not be mowing anymore this year. And get our tedder out and start tedding and getting all of this dried up to become hay here. Yep, still trying to figure out the steering on this. But, like I said, we'll get this put away, get the tedder out, and see how many bales we end up, making here. All right, we're ready to start baling. So we'll get this thing fired up, we'll get it dropped down, and see how many bales we get out of these two fields. I'm very hopeful that, we get somewhere around 100. That would be, absolutely fantastic here. But we'll get this field hammered out, see how many we get off of it, and then we can move into our second one. All right, we're finishing up the baling here on the first field, and it looks like we're going to end up with 46 bales and a little bit left over in the baler. So that's pretty good. Not quite 50 like I was hoping, but that's all right. We will run to the next field and get started on it. I'm hoping I got enough bale net. If not the end of the world, just run back to the shop there, pick some more up. But, well, you know what? Let's just go ahead and fill up now. That would be the smart thing to do. That way we don't have to stop halfway through baling. So we're going to throw on some more bale net, and then we'll get to baling in the brand new field here. All right, we're over here at the new field, so we'll get this fired up. We'll drop it down. I'm not going to reset the bale counter. That way I don't have to do math, because math is hard. So we're going to go ahead and get this hammered out and see how many bales we end up with total off both fields. All right, we're coming up on the end here. I'm going to push out one more bale, and that'll make 92 bales total. So we'll have just a little bit extra here, and I am glad I got that other bale net put in before we started, because we would have ran short. So we are done baling. We've got 92 bales we need to get picked up. So we're going to have a lot of bales to sell this winter, which is very, very good, because we do have, you know, a big over $50,000 loan now. So yeah, that's a lot of money. But I think we're sitting really, really good. We're going to have a gigantic harvest later on this year, so I'm quite pleased with where we're at. Now, we're not done baling yet. We will need to bale some corn stalks yet this year. So I'm just going to put the baler away in the shed and go start picking up bales. All right, we got all of our bales picked up. Went ahead and loaded up our manure spreader here, and we're going to fertilize both of our alfalfa fields. I want these at max yield for next spring, so we're going to go ahead and get these fertilized with our manure here. Should have plenty of manure, at least that's my hope. So we'll get these hammered out, and I will catch up to you guys when we are ready for harvest. Welcome into October, everyone. We're starting the morning out like we always do, feeding our cattle. This is our second feed wagon load up to the barn here. And we do need to get one load into our fat cattle lot. And I completely forgot to mention before the end of August there, we did not chop any silage. The year before, we had 80,000 liters left over, and that got us through the entire year. I only took 2 loader buckets out of the bunker silo. So we still had 111,000 liters of silage sitting in our bunker silo. That should be enough to get us through this year. So I'm taking a bit of a gamble by not chopping any silage, but it was such a pain having to pull all the silage out of the bunker in order to put new in. I just didn't want to deal with it. So it's a bit of a gamble, but it should be just fine. Now, we are up to 50 animals in this barn now. Our cattle are doing very, very well. Our herd is expanding very fast. As you can see, this is really, really filling up with cattle out here. I am super happy about that. But we need to go ahead and reload one more time, feed our fat cattle, haul our milk, and then it's on to harvest. And this is going to be a big harvest. We've got 3 soybean fields, 2 small ones, and 1 big one. And then we have our 1 big cornfield that we got to get harvested this year. So this is going to take the majority of this month to get this harvested. But we should be able to make a lot of money, which is a good thing because we have some major equipment upgrades that we need to make because we are outgrowing this farm in a hurry. All right, we're going to get our fat cattle fed here. They're getting close to being ready to be sold. We got a few months to go, but we are getting closer, so that's a good thing. With these guys fed, we need to get 1 bale of hay hauled over to our goats, and everybody will be happy, healthy, and fed. Then we can move on to selling our milk. All right, we're going to get this bale hauled over here to our goats, get them fed, and then we can take the tractor over, get it hooked up to the auger, and get it set in place so it's ready and raring to go. All right, we have 200 gallons of goat milk on and 1,342 gallons of cow milk. So we're going to get these run to the creamery and get them sold off here. And I went ahead and got the auger set up to the bin so it's all ready to go. So we can start harvest as soon as we get back. All right, we're down here at the creamery. Get this goat milk sold off. All right, we need to take $1,695 off. All right, now we can go ahead and sell our cow milk. and we need to pull 1,155 back from it. All right, so we're sitting at $24,131. Very happy with that. So we can head back and get started on harvest here. All right, well, I made a bit of a mistake and added money when I was supposed to take money away. I thought 24,000 was way too much. So we got it fixed. I'm at 19,819. That is the correct amount of money in our bank account that we should have. And I went ahead and brought Grandpa out, and he's going to run the combine, and I'm just going to run the truck because of how much fields, or, you know, how many acres we have to cover here, just to try and speed up this process a little bit. That way, you know, we're not spending time while I'm running back and forth unloading with the combine not running. So I will catch up to you guys when we get our first semi-load here, and hopefully we get, you know, one and a half off of this field. That would be awesome, but I'm guessing we're probably only going to get one. All right, we have our first load of beans on the truck, and the field's almost done, but I tell you what, Grandpa better figure it out here, because he's leaving a lot of beans out in the field, and we can't be having that. So if he can't get this figured out, I'm going to have to fire him. All right, so we'll go ahead and get this trailer unloaded and get back up into the field and make Grandpa clean up his absolute disaster before we move on to the next field. All right, we got both of our small fields done. This one did not yield as well as I had really hoped. That's not great. So we don't quite have a full semi-load, and we had, I think it was like 3,000 liters from the first field. So yeah, definitely not good. But we have got the combine, and Grandpa moved over into the big field, the big soybean field, our new one. So we got a lot of beans to go yet. Still have, you know, our big cornfield to go yet. So we've definitely got plenty more to harvest here. All right, we have our first load of soybeans on the truck here. Having a bit of an issue with the combine skipping and missing, but, you know, no big deal. We'll just have to, you know, go back and get that stuff cleaned up later. But we'll go ahead and get this dumped into the bin, and I believe we're going to have 3, possibly even 4 loads come off this field. So that's pretty good, considering soybeans are a pretty low yielding crop, which is why they're typically very valuable in the game. But the game value does not matter, as this is our 1990s series, and we're going off of the off of the price in the 1990s. All right, and we have another load coming off this bean field. This is fantastic. We've got a lot of beans to go yet. Harvest is definitely taking a while. As you can tell, it's, you know, almost noon already, but yeah, this harvest is absolutely fantastic, and there's so many beans out in the field yet. So we're going to go ahead and get this truck unloaded here and continue on with the harvest. All right, we have finally finished our bean harvest. It's 1:30 in the afternoon. That took a very, very long time. But if we run over here to the bin, we can see we've got 165,486 liters of beans in our bin. So that is a huge bean harvest for our farm. By far the biggest, not even close. So we're going to go ahead and get everything switched over and ready to run corn and get into our corn harvest, and hopefully get our corn harvest finished before sunset. If not, no big deal. We can definitely run into the night, and we also have all of next month, so plenty of time to get our corn harvest done. All right, it is almost 2 o'clock in the afternoon here, and we're finally getting into our cornfield. So we are going to drop straw swath, and I think we're going to do all of the, we're going to do 2 end rows, I guess I should say, 2 passes around the end rows. And we're going to drop a swath on both of them. That will be more than enough corn stalks for us for the year. And we don't need to make, this entire field that it's just going to be a ridiculous amount of bales. And there's really no reason for it. Yes, we could sell them, but that's getting, a little out of hand, to be completely honest. So we're just going to do the 2 end row passes here, and then we will go ahead and turn our spreaders back on and discharge the rest of the trash out the back of the combine. All right, we got our first semi-load here, and we haven't even made it all the way around the field twice, so we're definitely going to have a pretty good yield here in this field, and I'm very happy about that. We're going to have a lot of corn to sell coming up next year, so that's a good thing. We definitely need to make some money, as we are sitting at $18,000, so money is still very tight, but I do believe we are definitely moving in the right direction here. We picked up a lot of land, and yeah, things are looking up for sure. So we'll go ahead and get this emptied off into the bin here and hurry up and catch back up to the combine, because it'll probably be full again by the time we get this emptied and back to the field. All right, just checking in here. We are on our 3rd semi-load, and we're just about done with our short rows. So we'll be moving up to the kind of medium length rows in this field here in another pass or two. So we're definitely getting a lot of corn off this field, considering we've gotten 3 loads just doing end rows and the short rows here. So I'm hoping, we get another 3.5, maybe 4 semi-loads yet, and that would be, wonderful. That means we're getting big yield off of this field, and that's always exciting. All right, our harvest is officially done. We've got 204,414 liters of corn in our bin. It's almost 5 o'clock. We've still got straw that we need to get baled up here before the end of the night, and all of our equipment needs to be, cleaned up, maintenance, all of that good stuff. So we've got plenty to do yet here this month, but I'm going to do most of that off camera. So I will see you guys in November. We have a very, very busy month in November ahead of us. A lot of plans and a lot of field work to get done. So I will see you guys in November. All right, welcome into November, everyone. We've already got all of our animals fed. Everything's looking good there. We've got our goat milk loaded and our cow milk loaded. We've got 224 gallons of goat milk and 2,008 gallons of cow milk. So we're going to go ahead and get these run into town here, get them sold off at the creamery. And as always, we will adjust price as necessary. All right, we're down here at the creamery, so we'll go ahead and get this goat milk sold off. All right, we need to pull back $1,682. All right, now we'll go ahead and get our cow milk sold. All right, we need to pull back $1,296. All right, so that puts us at $19,886. So we're going to head back to the home place. We've got a lot of field work we need to get done this month, and I haven't checked yet to see if we have any animals that are ready to be sold. I know we should be getting close, but I don't know if we're quite there yet. All right, we got our 4786 hooked up to our slurry spreader here, and we got a lot of slurry to spread, so we're going to start out with our small fields here that will be going to corn, and eventually move into our big field. But first, we're going to get these small ones hammered out. So we'll get this thing fired up. And these little fields won't take very long at all. But it'll be good to get these out of the way. That way we can get them cultivated soon. Alright, we are out of slurry. I got both of the little fields done, but didn't even make 2 headland passes on this big one here. Not a big deal by any means, because we're definitely going to be using anhydrous in the spring, so we'll get the nitrogen down that we need. Just more or less need to get rid of that slurry before, the barn overflows and causes a huge mess. So we're going to go ahead and get the cultivator out, and we need to start doing some cultivating. We've got a lot to do this fall here that I want to get done. That way we don't have to worry about it, or at least worry about so much of it in spring. All right, we got the cultivator hooked up. We're in our new field here. We're going to get this thing all cultivated, and then we can move on to the 2 small fields, and we'll end with the other big field down here in the bottom. All right, well, I went ahead and hired Grandpa to go ahead do the cultivating on our other big field here. So we're going to go ahead and spread some fertilizer out here on our corn stalks, get this prepped and ready for beans, and this way this can be cultivated under, and everything will be very good here in this field. So we'll hammer this out. This won't take very long at all, and hopefully by the time we're done with this, Grandpa will be at least close in the other big field. Close to being finished, I should say. All right, we are finishing up our fertilizer here on the corn stalk ground. And so that's done. Grandpa is, not quite halfway, but, maybe a third of the way done with that field over there. So he's getting there, but it's definitely taking a while, as that is a big field and a small cultivator. So we'll go ahead, get this fertilizer cart cleaned up and returned. Make sure we get the fertilizer emptied out of it. And this is probably going to be about it for the month of November. We don't have any animals to sell, and we don't have any other field work other than cultivating to do. So I will catch up to you guys when we're ready to sell some corn. And I think there's going to be some big changes coming up here this winter to our farm. At least I'm hoping so. I definitely have some big plans and some big hopes, so not sure how it's going to turn out, but hopefully it all works out the way I think it's going to. Hey everyone, welcome into February of 1994. It's been a bit of a crazy winter, to be honest. In November, we went ahead and finished up all of our cultivating. Got all of our fields cultivated. Everything's looking very good there. We got some fields, that definitely need anhydrous yet, but that won't be for a couple months. And we made a lot of big changes on the farm. So we're going through a lot of TMR right now. And I mean a lot. We are definitely going to run out of silage. That's okay. We're going to go ahead and purchase some. I'm not going to deal with running out again like I did early on. So we're just going to bite the bullet, spend the money. And speaking of money, you can see we're at $24,354, which is slightly more than I had back in November. And that's because we are finally at a point where selling milk is actually covering all of our loan payments and turning a small profit, which is wonderful. It's taken us a long time to get here, but we're finally here. So that is awesome. Now, running out of silage is not good. That will definitely kill our milk production, which is why we're not going to let that happen. We are going to buy silage because, we need it, period. So no big deal. But we've made some other drastic changes to the farm as well. I went ahead and sold that Sukup grain bin because it was worthless to us, but a neighbor wanted it, so I sold it to him for $11,000, which is part of why we are up as far as we are for money. But also it is because, we're finally making an actual profit off of our milk. Part of the problem with that making that profit is our milk trailer is now too small. We can't do it in one load. It takes 2 trips into town. So that part, kind of sucks, but that's okay. It's a good problem to have. And I'm going to take the long way around here and we show you what all changes we made here. It's pretty big. So if we come around here, you can see our goat barn is gone. The goats were fun. They're, obviously very adorable animals, but they really weren't making us much money. We were only making a few $100s a month, and it just wasn't working. So I sold off all of our goats and put up 2 more cattle pens in here. Now, one of them is currently still empty, but this one has 10 head of Hereford cows and 1 Hereford bull in it. So we're raising them strictly as slaughter animals. So it'll be a couple of years before we start turning a profit off these guys, but for now, we're just feeding them, and here in about 2 years, we'll be able to start turning a profit off of them and sell them as fat cattle alongside of our Holstein fat cattle that we're already currently raising and selling, and they'll be ready to go. I believe it's next month. We'll have, 4, maybe 5 head that are ready to get sold off. So we'll be making money off of them. Now, I have not sold any of our corn or soybeans either. So we still have all of our corn and soybeans to get sold yet. I haven't sold off any of our hay bales either. So we have plenty of alfalfa hay bales that we need to get sold yet this winter. So we are finally in a really, really good place on the farm. And I am very excited for moving forward here. Now the catch is going to be not overspending now and putting us right back in the same predicament we were in before. But if we jump off here, you can see we've got 53 head in this barn. And everybody is very, very healthy. Got a bunch of babies out there, bunch of new calves, and everybody is looking wonderful. So it's a little odd that there's no snow on the ground in February, but you know what? I'll take it for now. So this is the only barn we need to get fed this month. I fed all of the other cattle pens last month. So we'll get this done. We'll go ahead and get our milk sold. We will be selling our corn this month, so we've got plenty of work that we need to get done this month. But first things first, we always do the chores, then we sell the milk, and then we can move on to selling our grains. All right, we have 2,111 gallons of milk on. So we'll get this hauled into the creamery, get it sold off, and adjust the price accordingly. All right, we're down here at the creamery, so we'll go ahead and get this milk sold off here. All right, so in 1994, the average price of a gallon of milk was $2.55. So we need to adjust this down a bit. We're $765 too much, so we'll go ahead and get that pulled back. All right, we went ahead and pulled back $765. So in 1994, the average price for a gallon of milk was $2.55. We had 2,111 gallons on, which comes out to be $5,383. So we went ahead and pulled back the $765 to get us to where we need to be. Now we'll head back, load up with the rest of our milk here, and get it hauled in and do the same thing. All right, we have 898 gallons of milk on here for our second load. So we'll get this hauled to the creamery and adjust the prices as needed. All right, we are back down here at the creamery, so we'll go ahead and get this milk sold off here. And we need to pull back $326. All right, so that puts us at $32,028. That's a pretty good month for milk, if I do say so myself. So we will head back and get ready to start hauling corn into town. All right, we have our first load of corn on the trailer here. We'll get this hauled down to the co-op, get it unloaded, and adjust the price as needed. We should have, it's like 7 3/4 loads here, so the last load, won't be a full load, but it'll be close. So we will make a pretty decent profit here. We're selling the corn at $2.72 a bushel, and we're selling it all. All right, we're getting pulled into the co-op here. We'll go ahead and get this semi unloaded and see how much we have to adjust the price down here after this first load. All right, we need to take $13,834 off. All right, and that puts us at $34,067. So we'll go ahead and make this trip 6 more times and get this bin emptied. All right, we are getting pulled in here with our last load. We've got 551 bushels on. So we'll go ahead and get this sold off and then adjust the price down to where it needs to be. All right, we need to pull 10,252 back. All right, and we are at $48,159. That is absolutely fantastic. So we are now done selling grain, and I think we're pretty well done for the month of February here. Welcome into March of 1994, everyone. It's going to be a very exciting month. We've got a lot to do. There's rain coming, so our time might be cut a little short, which is not going to be great, but we got a lot to do. And as you can see, we've spent a lot of money. And right here, you can see a couple of the things we spent money on. We picked up this used Kenworth T800 and a new milk trailer. That way we can increase our storage capacity for the milk when hauling. And, continue to grow as this farm grows. Now, I also bought a new hopper bottom. It's a bigger one. So it'll hold 1,155 bushels, which is going to, decrease the amount of trips we have to make to the co-op as for now, but it's going to be big enough that as we grow and continue to increase our farmland, we won't, be outsized. Or, it won't be too small, I guess is what I should say. So things are going well. We've got 3 feed wagon loads we got to get hauled here. We've got cattle to sell this month. And with the amount of cattle we now have and are going to have here in the near future, we need more alfalfa land. We're definitely going to need more bales here in the near future. So this field right here, up here at the cattle barn, is going to be planted to alfalfa this year. All right, we have the feed wagon loaded here for our Herefords, so we'll go ahead and get them fed. And then we can move on to our milk and getting it sold. All right, we've got 2,816 gallons of milk. So it's nice being able to do this in one trip. And the trailer's only a third full, which means we've got quite a bit of growth we can do with our cattle and our milk production. So that's a good thing. This trailer is definitely going to pay for itself in a hurry. All right, we're down here at the creamery, so we'll go ahead and get this sold off here. All right, and we need to pull back $456. So that puts us at $21,112. That's very good. We've still got bales that we need to sell this month, cattle we need to sell this month. And also, I want to get our one alfalfa field mowed down so that we can get it plowed and cultivated and ready to be planted next month. So we've got definitely plenty of work to do, and let's hope that rain holds off and doesn't really ruin what I have planned for the day. All right, with rain coming at 10 a.m., I'm going to go ahead and try and get this all seeded here before that rain hits. But very excited to turn this into alfalfa. I think it's definitely going to be the right choice moving forward. And we should be able to get this done before 10 a.m. no problem. And it'll be a quick, short rain, so we can still get our alfalfa knocked down this afternoon. That is in our field that we're going to change over to crop ground. So everything should work out just perfectly this month, at least I hope. All right, well, we are done planting our alfalfa. So I think I'm going to go ahead and run down to the co-op, get our anhydrous toolbar and a couple of tanks, because I do believe it's going to take more than one with the amount of crop ground we're doing now, and get prepped and ready for putting anhydrous down. Now we can go ahead and start and run until the rain starts, but I do not want to do any mowing yet because I don't want that alfalfa to get rained on. So we'll go ahead and get this cedar cleaned up, put away, run down, get our toolbar, and see if it started raining yet or not. All right, well, slight change of plans here. Decided I'm going to go ahead and sell these cattle now. I was going to do it when it rained, but I don't really want to get started on anhydrous and then, have to stop and have too many partial projects going. So we're just going to go ahead and get these cattle sold off. And this should be a pretty good payday here. We've got 9 head of cattle on the trailer here. So we'll go ahead and get these guys sold off. And see, what happens with the rain. All right, we're getting pulled into the animal dealer here. We'll go ahead and get these cattle sold off. All right, so we need to adjust that down $13,733. All right, so that puts us at $31,210. Very happy with that. So we'll head back to the home place here and see where we want to go while we're waiting on this rain. All right, well, it's about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. The rain has finally stopped, so we are good to go ahead and start mowing. But first, we made some big changes and spent a ridiculous amount of money while we were waiting for that rain to quit. So, as you can see, the 1586 has the duals off, and it is now hooked up to our feed wagon. And that's because I do plan on upgrading the feed wagon here in the near future, as this one is going to get very small very fast. Some of the other things we bought, I did some research, and a 1480 will run a 30-foot bean header. You have to upgrade the tires on the combine from what I could, what I read in the forums, but it will run a 30-footer, so we don't have a 30-foot option. So I went with the TerraFlex 28-foot. So that's pretty close. It'll work on the 1480, and that's, just that much more each pass that will help, cut our harvest time down a little bit. Our last harvest took me a little over 9 hours real time to get done, so any way I can cut that down, I'm definitely going to do it. And as you can see, I got the baler and the tedder moved out here. And that's because I needed to make room in the shed. So in this shed, we still have our seeder, we still have our combine. But we've got our brand new hopper sitting in here. And we also bought a used J&M 875 grain cart. Now, this is going to come in huge. Problem was, I didn't really have a tractor that would pull it. But we got one heck of a deal on it. I did pay cash for it, so there's no loan on it. There's no loan on that trailer. The only loan we have on equipment is in this other shed. And as you can see, we have a brand new tractor. We've got a brand new 7250. First brand new tractor on the farm. And we have a used Kinsey 16-row planter. Now, after doing some research, the Kinsey 3600 did not come out in 1994, but they did have a 16-row option. Unfortunately, I can't find a mod for it anywhere, so we're going to use this and pretend that it's the 2600 instead of the 3600. But they did have a 16-row option, so I went ahead and purchased the 16-row planter. And the 7250 is a bit big for the planter, but it will come in very handy for pulling the grain cart. So we've spent a lot of money. I took out, it was a $191,000 loan for the tractor and the planter. So we've got to make an additional $4,000 a month in payments. But I think we're fine. We've got a lot of hay bales to sell. We're going to continue making a lot of hay. So we'll have that as income every winter. Our crop ground is obviously growing, so we're going to be selling, more and more crop every year. So that's a good thing. And I think we're going to be fine. It might make things a little tight and a little tough coming up. But I've also already purchased the seed and herbicide that we need for the year. So we shouldn't have any more major input costs moving forward. So that's a very, very good thing. Now, a couple of things I still want to upgrade. I do want to get a new feed wagon, and I'd love to be able to get a self-propelled chopper. I don't know if we're going to be able to pull that off this year or not, but it's definitely something I would like to be able to do. It doesn't have to be, brand new by any means, but just having a self-propelled chopper would definitely make that process go a lot faster. And I also would like to put in a harvest store silo for our silage. The silage bunker, I think is going to be too small moving forward. But B, it is kind of a hassle if there is anything left over. You can't really, you have to pull everything out, and, we've already seen that fiasco. So, that is the plan moving forward on the farm here. Now, we've still got a lot of work to do this month. We need to get this baling done so we can sell our hay bales, as we're down to $22,000 right now. And we definitely need a little bit more income moving forward here. So we're going to get all of the alfalfa taken care of in the one field, and now in our one new field. Now, in our original alfalfa field, we are not going to mow that until May like normal. I believe mowing it this early would definitely hinder it, because there's still, we're in March, there's still a chance for a freeze, but I need to get this alfalfa knocked down, baled, and ready for turning that field into crop ground. A little risky, but I think it'll be worth it. So we're going to go ahead and get this alfalfa taken care of first, and then we need to hook up the chisel plow, get these two fields plowed in together. Then we need to put anhydrous down. And another benefit of that 7250 is we can now use a bigger anhydrous toolbar. So we do have a lot of ground that we need to cover this year with anhydrous, so having a bigger toolbar is definitely going to make a big difference. Alright, so we'll get this thing fired up, we'll get it dropped down, and we can get to mowing our alfalfa here. This field shouldn't take very long. It's not, a huge field by any means, but should have a pretty good yield to it. Well, I think I forgot to mention that I sold the 1066 when we sold the planter, so we don't have that tractor anymore. It was getting to be very high hours. The 856 just has a lot less hours on it and is big enough to pull our tedder. And I do believe it should be big enough to pull our baler. If not, we'll have to use the 1586. I'm hoping we don't need to do that, but if we do, we do. No big deal. But this will definitely run the tedder and the rake, so the 1066, aside from, really running the feed wagon, it was kind of redundant. So, and I plan on upgrading that feed wagon here in the future, so it was a good time to get rid of it. It was, like I said, it was starting to get high hours, got a good price on it for trade-in, so it all worked out quite well. But we'll go ahead, get this field tedded, get it raked, and then we can get it baled. And once all of that is complete, we can get it prepped and ready to be turned into corn ground. All right, we got this alfalfa ready to bale here, so we'll get the baler fired up, drop down. Got the bale counter reset, and we'll see how many bales we can get off this field. And once this is done, we're going to sell a ridiculous amount of bales here. We definitely need that income, so that is every bale off this field is getting sold right away, plus the majority of the bales we already have stockpiled. All right, pulling up here on the end. Gonna have one more bale drop out, so that'll give us 23 bales on this field. That'll be very good. And we've got a lot of bales already, stockpiled down at the home place that are ready to be sold. So we've got a lot of selling to do here, and then we got some plowing to do, some cultivating, and anhydrous to put down. So we've got a lot to do. It's already 2:30 in the afternoon. But we've got to go ahead and get it done, so let's get to it. All right, we've got our trailer loaded here, and yes, I am using the auto load feature on this trailer just to save a little bit of time here. But we're going to go ahead and sell these bales. We're selling them at $150 a bale. I'm not even sure how many bales we actually have, but it's quite a few. So we're going to go ahead, get all of these sold here, and then we can move on to doing our anhydrous. So, good news, bad news. Good news, we got all of our bales sold. We're sitting at $42,500. Bad news, anhydrous is no longer working. It just instantly empties the tank. I genuinely have no idea what's going on. So we're going to have to go a different direction when it comes to fertilizing, which is beyond frustrating. I don't understand it. It's a super common practice to put down anhydrous. I do not understand why it doesn't, all of a sudden it's not working. It makes no sense. Need to turn on our allow field here, as I'm being extremely frustrated. So we're going to go ahead and combine these two fields, and I'm going to have to figure out something for our nitrogen and fertilizer moving forward here. Not what I expected this far into the series. I mean, anhydrous has worked absolutely perfectly up to this point, so I don't know why all of a sudden it quit. Must be something to do with the latest update, but it is definitely frustrating. So I'm going to try and straighten this field out just a little bit, and then we're going to get these two fields connected. And we've got cultivating to do, and hopefully I can figure out what to do for our fertilizer moving forward here. Alright, well, I went ahead and grabbed the fertilizer cart here. We filled it up with lime. I need to lime what we just plowed up, and this field is honestly ready for it anyway, so we're just going to lime the whole thing all in one shot. This year, didn't plan on doing it this year, but, you know, things never go according to plan. But moving forward, we're only going to be using our slurry and manure, and whatever that doesn't cover, we're going to have to use, unfortunately, we will have to use just dry fertilizer or liquid fertilizer with the sprayer, because anhydrous just will not work. It's disappointing. You know, anhydrous is nothing new. It's something that's been done in the industry, I believe, since the 60s, if not the 50s. And, you know, super common practice for farming. I don't know why, A, it's not base game, and B, why it just doesn't work. It's super frustrating. But we're going to go ahead and get this lime done, and as you can see, we're down to $24,000. It's because I switched out our manure spreader. The one we had worked fine for doing, you know, little stuff, but doing a big field, it just, with it only shooting out one side, it just was going to take way too long. So I changed out the fertilizer spread, or the manure spreader, to something different, and that's what we're going to roll with moving forward here. All right, welcome into April, everyone. It is April of 1994, and we have already fed our animals, and we're heading to town with our milk. We've got 2,507 gallons of milk on, and we're going to go ahead and run to the creamery and get this sold. Now, I did go ahead and finish fertilizing all of our fields. Everything is prepped and ready to be planted, so it's just a matter of getting our chores done, getting our milk sold, and then we can get into planting. All right, we're down here at the creamery, so we'll go ahead and get this milk sold off. All right, and we need to pull back $377. All right, so that puts us at $20,835. All right, we're going to start out planting our corn. Now, I did decide I'm going to change things up a bit. The fields to the north of us, on the other side of the highway here, are going to be soybeans this year. I had originally planned on them being corn, but with the way things have kind of gone, we definitely need money, and soybeans are still paying out better than corn is. Now, we need a lot of corn for chopping and obviously, you know, selling as a cash crop, but this year especially, it's going to be more important that we do beans. So that's what my plan is moving forward. We'll have this one big field as corn, and everything else will be planted as soybeans. All right, well, we have our cornfield planted, and I did something a little different. I don't know how it's going to work, but if it does work, this is going to be awesome. I went ahead and contoured our field. So if we run up here, you can see as we run along, the row angles changed. Now, it's not perfect by any means, but it is different. I'll be very curious as to whether or not the corn actually pops up this way, or if it's just going to pop up in predetermined rows, kind of the way it did in my last series in Farmville, North Carolina, where it didn't matter what direction I planted, the rows of crop only came up in one direction. So if this does work, A, it's going to suck to combine, but B, that's pretty nifty. I don't think I've seen this on any other map where the planter rows actually follow what direction you go. I was kind of curious because I kept messing up my end rows really bad because I was just dropping the planter all willy-nilly like, but this is going to be interesting. So there's going to be all kinds of point rows out here. That's, that could be an issue for sure. Not really sure how this is actually going to work, but you can kind of see how we did plant around this ridge here. Now, I've definitely got some skips and gaps and, didn't do a great job, with the planter, but hey, that's okay. This is going to be interesting. Now, in Farming Simulator, it doesn't matter. There's no soil erosion, so you can plant straight up and down a hill. No big deal. And in the bottoms, whether it's Farming Simulator or real life, you can plant any direction you want because it's flat and you don't have to worry about soil erosion. But being from Southwest Iowa and living with all kinds of hills and terraces everywhere, being able to contour in-game would be absolutely awesome. So we'll see what the corn looks like next month when it's popped up. Hopefully those rows do follow the way I planted. That would be absolutely terrific. But we're going to go ahead and get switched over to our soybeans here. All right, we have switched over to our soybeans, so we'll go ahead and get this dropped down. And this one we're going to do just like we always do, just straight back and forth, no big deal. This one we can, just run the longest rows possible, cover as many acres as quickly as we can. And yeah, I'm super excited about that contouring. I really, really hope that works. All right, we are finishing up planting here in the big field with our soybeans. And we did have to go back and fill up the planter one time. No big deal. We definitely had plenty of seed sitting in the shed, so that worked out to our favor. Now we're going to go ahead and move up to our smaller-ish field. Honestly, I think it might be about the same amount of acres as this one now, but it's definitely a lot narrower, just way, way longer rows. So we'll move up there, get that planted, and then we can move on to spraying. And we have a bunch of spraying we need to get done. All right, we are ready to get this field planted, so we'll drop the planter down, get a row marker out, and get to it here. Now this won't take, this field is definitely quite a bit narrower than any of our others, but the rows are much, much longer in this field. So not sure how long this is going to take, but it's definitely going to take a minute. And with this, our spring planting for 1994 is officially complete. Got all of our fields planted, so now we are ready to go ahead and get this planter and tractor cleaned up, put away for the year, and get our sprayer out. We've got a lot of acres to spray here. I honestly think we're up pretty close to 100 acres total, give or take anyway. And yeah, we got a lot of ground to cover, and unfortunately our sprayer is definitely not mammoth by any means. It is a good sized sprayer for the, obviously for the year of 1994, but it's still, going to take me probably a couple hours yet to get all of these fields sprayed. But as always, definitely want to get my spraying done now. Getting that pre-emergence down, make sure that we don't have a weed problem the rest of the year. And I can max out my yield potential here. So that is very, very good. All right, we got the old Massey Ferguson sprayer out here, so we're going to go ahead and get all of our fields sprayed. We'll start with the cornfield that we planted first. And now, while I did contour this when I was planting, I am not going to do the contour while I'm spraying because it is Farming Simulator, and going up and down the hills is not going to cause soil erosion. And it's also the fastest way to get these fields done is just straight back and forth. So, we're not going to do the contour here. I'm still super hopeful and really, really going to be excited if the contouring did work with planting and the rows actually grow that way. That will be, in my opinion, a major step forward as far as Farming Simulator goes. But for now, we're just going to hammer out all these fields with our sprayer. I'm guessing it's going to take probably 3 fill-ups to get all of our fields done. Maybe be able to skate by with 2. We'll see how bad I do overlapping, but my guess is going to be 3. All right, and with this, we are officially done spraying. So we got all of our fields planted, all of them are sprayed. So we have maximized our yield potential, and I'm very excited to, see what we get for our yields in the fall here. But this should pretty well do it for the month of April. So I will see you guys in May. All right, welcome into May, everyone. It is a beautiful May morning, 53 degrees, and we're getting our chores done. I've already sold off all of our garden products and our eggs, and we're sitting at $14,000. We have just enough silage, I believe, to get our chores done and our cattle fed this month, but that is it. Well, then we will be out of silage. That's not good. I did some research, and it looks like for silage back in 1994, what I found showed that you calculate the price of silage as anywhere from 6 to 10 times the price of corn, a bushel of corn. 6 times if it's in the field, 10 times if it's already harvested. So we would be paying 10 times the price. So that would be $27.20 a bushel. Well, that comes out to $15,123 per wagon load for the wagon we use for silage. That one wagon load, I don't believe would get us through. I'm pretty sure we would need 2 in order to get us all the way through summer. So that's an issue. That would be over $30,000. That is basically all of our profit gone for the year. So makes me wonder, why aren't we selling silage? And B, I can't afford that, period. So we need to figure something out. Now, I'm not sure what we're going to do. I might just go ahead and rent a bale wrapper, and we might just have to wrap some of our alfalfa bales just to, make sure that we can get by. Not really sure, but we've got 4 loads of feed we need to get made this month, and that's, kind of a problem here. But we're going to see how far this silage gets us, and then we can make our choice and our decision on what we're going to do once we figure out just, how far we actually get through our chores here this morning. All right, we have all of our chores done, and we've got our milk trailer loaded here. We've got 2,217 gallons on. So we'll take this to the creamery and get it sold. And coming up here is going to be the moment of truth. Did our contouring actually work? I really, really hope it did. and it's hard to tell. Well, let's just go ahead and jump up into build mode here. And it looks like it did. Definitely have a lot of skips out there. You can tell I didn't do great in a few spots, but yeah, those rows are actually contouring around the hill. I really hope you guys can see that. Because, yeah, it's not great. Like, it's very jagged and janky, and, you know, I don't know if I'll do it again, but, by golly, it did work. So, our fields look absolutely fantastic, other than, you know, my terrible skips. But, you know, that's what happens when you're not planting with GPS, so you'll have that from time to time. But otherwise, everything else looks fantastic. So our beans look like they're doing great. The corn looks great. I don't see any weeds out there, so that is all wonderful. All right, getting pulled in here at the creamery. Go ahead and get this sold off. And we actually have to add a little bit. I'll be darned. All right, we need to add about $200 here. All right, so that puts us at $17,709. So, base game, hard difficulty. That price is definitely all over the board. We've had to add money, we've had to subtract money. It's interesting to say the least. But we'll go ahead and head back. We've got corn we need to get sold. We've got alfalfa we need to get mowed. And we still have to make a decision on what we're going to do about silage because we are officially out. All right, we have our brand new trailer with our first load of grain on it, and it is soybeans. I believe I said corn earlier, and I was wrong. I meant soybeans. So we've got soybeans to get sold this month. I don't even know how many loads at this point because we now have a new trailer that holds more. So this trailer holds 1,155 bushels, so we'll get this taken down to the co-op, get it sold, and adjust our price as needed here. Pulling into the co-op here, we'll go ahead and get this truck unloaded. Now this one does have 2 hoppers, so we'll have to unload each one, and then we can adjust the price as needed. Alright, so we need to adjust the price significant. So we need to take back $51,065. All right, that's better. So we're at $27,437. So we're going to run back, get another load, and see how many loads we end up with here. I'm guessing 3.5, 4-ish loads, somewhere in that ballpark. All right, pulling in down here at the co-op with our last little dab of soybeans here. We had 4 full loads, and then we've got 76 bushel here in the front hopper. And that is it. So we'll go ahead and get this sold off. And we need to pull back $3,379. Alright, so that puts us at $51,095. I'm feeling pretty good with where we're at after selling our soybeans. We've upgraded a whole bunch of equipment on the farm. We've got a bunch of farmland that we're, currently farming. Our cattle are doing great. Our herd is growing. So I think we're in a very, very good place on this farm, even after the whole anhydrous debacle. All right, we're going to run back to the home place here and start mowing our alfalfa and getting that turned into hay. And I still have to decide. I haven't decided if I want to bite the bullet and get a bale wrapper and wrap a few bales or spend the ungodly amount of money and buy silage. I think the renting a bale wrapper is definitely going to be the right choice. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to wrap a few bales. I need to do some math, figure out how many bales we need to wrap. And that's what, we're going to have to do. I definitely tried to expand faster than I was actually ready to. And this is one of the problems that comes with doing that. But thankfully, we do have our saving grace of being able to wrap alfalfa bales, so that's what we're going to do. All right, we got the International 5000 out. We're going to go ahead and start mowing down our alfalfa. We're going to start in our new alfalfa field, and then we'll move on to our old alfalfa field and see how many bales we get out of both.
Even when my teardrops start to dry, even when the sun begins to shine again, taking all the advice there is and none of it has helped. Experience has made me realize that I won't build my life on empty words. Being so damn naive, it only hurts. I'm so tired of love songs. Life never turns out the way they do. I've been trying for so long, looking for someone who wants me to. I've heard every cliche there is, and none of them makes sense. I'm so tired of love songs. I'm sick and tired of love songs. I'm so tired of you. Looking back on how I used to be, I always thought that love was made for me. Oh well, I was just as blue-eyed as the sky could ever be. Loving you has made me realize I'm so tired of love songs. Life never turns out the way they do. I've been trying for so long, looking for someone who wants me to. I've heard every cliche there is, and none of them make sense. I'm so tired of love songs. I'm sick and tired of love songs. I'm so tired of you. I'm so tired of you. I'm so tired of you. I'm so tired of love songs. Sick and tired of love songs. Even when my teardrops start to dry, and even when the sun begins to shine again, I've taken all the advice there is, and none of it has helped. I'm so tired of love songs, sick and tired of love songs. I'm so tired of you. Ooh, sick and tired of you. I'm so tired of love songs that never turns out the way they do. I've been trying for so long, looking for someone to help me through. I've heard every cliche there is, and none of them make sense. I'm so tired of love songs, sick and tired of love songs. I'm so tired of you.
All right, and we are done mowing. So I'm going to go ahead and hook up to the baler first. We're going to bale some end rows off of one of these fields and see, I can't remember exactly how big the grass bale will be. So once I know how many liters that grass bale will be, I can do the math and figure out how many bales we'll actually need. We'll get all the bales we need done first for wrapping and turning into silage, and then we'll turn the rest into hay. So not sure how many we're going to end up doing of each, but we're going to find out here pretty quick. All right, we got the baler hooked up, so we'll go ahead and start baling up our end row here and see what we end up with for size. I honestly have no idea how many liters an alfalfa bale is going to be. I know what the dry alfalfa bale is, the hay, but I have no idea what just freshly mowed alfalfa is going to be. All right, 5,500 liters. So I'll do the math and figure up how many we need. All right, so we're going to go ahead and do 10 of these bales just to be safe. That should be too much, but I do want to make sure that we do have enough here, so we're going to go ahead and do 10 of them. All right, well, I went ahead and leased a bale wrapper, and I'm not going to adjust the price any. Definitely taking that penalty for, messing this up, taking that little extra hit in the money. It was $2,600, but not a whole lot I can do about it at this point. It was a terrible decision on my part, so we're going to pay the full fiscal penalty here with having to lease this, and we're going to go ahead and get these wrapped right away because they will take a full 24 hours, full month, however you want to say it, to get fermented. So the sooner we get these fermenting, the better off we are. And that's our last one, so we'll go ahead and fold this up and get it returned, and we can get back to our regular hay making here and start tedding and raking and then getting everything baled. All right, we've got all of our alfalfa tedded and raked, so we are ready to bale. And on, kind of on the bright side here, we don't have any end rows to do in this field since we've already baled those up and turned them into silage. So this field won't take very long. We've already made 10 bales, so I'll be curious as to what we end up with here in the end overall between the two fields. All right, we got 20 bales off our new alfalfa field, and I do believe we were not at full, and I do believe we didn't get a full yield out of it because it's only been 2 months since we planted it, not 3. So we should be able to get even more bales off of it in our next cutting in August. So honestly, pretty happy with where we're at there. Not thrilled about the whole silage debacle, but we're making do anyway. And as you can see, our bean field looks absolutely fantastic. So we're going to go ahead and finish baling in here. And we should get, another 40-ish bales, I think. Maybe a few more than that. So we'll have plenty of bales to get picked up here when we get this done. And plenty of bales to make sure that we can keep our cattle fed. All right, we're finishing up our baling here. We're going to pop out one last bale. That gives us 67 bales in total. So that means we have 57 that are hay and 10 that are silage. Pick up this last little bit of hay here, and we are done. So we'll go ahead and get all of these bales picked up, and then we need to make sure we get both of these fields fertilized again. All right, well, it's a little after 1 o'clock, and we are ready to start fertilizing. We got all of our bales picked up and stacked nicely in the yard. So we're going to go ahead and spread some manure on both of our alfalfa fields here. And make sure that I unfold the manure spreader first. That's my bad. And make sure that we can get, maximum yield off of both of these fields here. So we'll hammer this out, and that is going to be it for the month of May, and also it. Hey everyone, welcome into August of 1994. We're starting the day out doing some chopping here, get our silage done. We definitely need to get this done as soon as possible because things have not gone well this summer. We're hurting, and we're hurting bad. The silage bales that I made have not fermented yet. They should finally finish up this month. I have no idea why it's taken 3 months. That's new to me. I did not realize it would take 3 months for silage bales to ferment. So that's really, really bad. That has caused us to have to buy silage in order to feed our cattle. That took all of our money. Now we're sitting at $32,000 because I took out another loan this month. I took out a $25,000 loan for 1 year. Now, my plan is to have that paid off right after harvest. We're going to sell grain right away this year. We'll sell it in December. And hopefully, we'll make enough that we can pay that loan off because I absolutely cannot afford to pay on that loan all year long. We may lose the farm here. I'm not really sure what to expect moving forward here. We've had to borrow money, and we definitely do not have the income to pay it back. So things are not looking great right now. Now, I am hopeful that, we can make it work somehow, even if that means, cutting our cattle herd in half. If, we have to do that, maybe if we have to sell off, I don't know. We may end up having to sell off one of these farms. That might not, we might not have a choice in that. It's a little scary, to be honest, trying to figure out what to do here moving forward. But for now, we're going to worry about getting this silage chopped. That way we can at least get our cattle fed and stop spending money to feed the cattle. Now, with those bales being ready this month, that means, we're going to be able to at least feed off of what we have and not spend money. So as long as this silage is ready in, a couple of months, we're fine. But I definitely want to, make sure that this is, A, going to be ready by the time we're out of our silage bales, and B, make sure that we have enough. I know I already said I want to make sure I never run short again. And then I got greedy, tried to expand way too fast, and we ran short. So, gonna have to be a little more diligent here moving forward. The next couple years, 2-3 years at least, are gonna be a bit tight and definitely stressful. But I have faith that we can make it work and come out the other side, well ahead. Thankfully, we've already bought all of the equipment that we really needed to continue, upgrading and expanding this farm and staying, for the size that it is. So we don't really have too many equipment expenses as long as nothing breaks down. So that's a good thing. It's mostly just making sure that we can pay our loans and continue putting crop in the ground so that we can continue an income here. All right, we got our first wagon load here, and I guess I didn't even mention earlier, we have a new wagon. We have a new wagon because we needed this style to unload into our silo. So I did put up a silo this summer. At the time, I thought everything was good, so we spent the money, put it up, and it was after that I discovered we messed up, and we messed up big. So we have the silo. That's a good thing. Bad thing is, we definitely ended up needing that money really, really bad, and that's why we had to take out this loan. Now, this loan is not the end of the world by any means. It's just, frustrating. That's all it really is. It's just frustrating. But part of buying this silo was we also had to buy a new blower, so we have a new international blower here to fill this silo full of chaff. And it's very touchy. Very, very touchy. You have to be in just the right spot. The trigger could definitely be a little bit bigger. Alright, so that is one trailer load into our silo. Now, the nice thing about this silo is we don't have to do any packing. No extra work. Just get it full. And it'll ferment due to the design of the silo. It does all the fermenting on its own, so that is one good thing about it. But we're going to do about 10 trailer loads. These trailers hold 35,000. So that should give me, 350,000 liters. That will definitely be enough to get us through 1 year. So 10 trailer loads is the goal. And that's trailer number 1, so we got 9 to go. Alright, well, as you can see, things have changed a bit. The used market had this old New Holland chopper. It's got 60 hours on it, and after selling off our chopper and the chopper head and buying this New Holland self-propelled chopper and the head for it, we only spent like $3,000. And this is going significantly faster. It covers more ground. per pass. Now, obviously, the way the this is set up, it's not working that way at the moment, but our next pass will be a full header width, so that'll be very good. And this is just going to get us done a lot faster, make things a lot easier, and I can put a little bit less hours on the 1586, as it does have a lot of hours already. So this is actually going really, really well now, and I'm very happy with it. Like I said, it only cost us about $3,000 to change it over, as it was used with an extreme amount of hours, but the hours don't really matter on the chopper so much, because we only use it one time a year, and then the rest of the year it just sits in the shed, so no big deal there. But this is our 4th wagon load so far, so we're not quite halfway done, but we are getting close. Alright, we got our last trailer load here of chaff, so we're going to go ahead and get this dumped into the silo and get everything washed up, put away, just in time for the rain to start. So once the rain is done, then we can go ahead and start mowing all of our alfalfa. So in that meantime, we haven't fed any of our cattle yet, and we have a lot of feeding to do. So we're going to do that while it's raining, and like I said, once the rain stops, we can go ahead and start mowing our alfalfa and getting it baled up. And I need to figure out something to do for bale storage. Stacking bales over here is all of a sudden not a great option. So I found that if I start unloading this and jump out of the tractor, it unloads on its own without me having to hit the button every 5 seconds. And I also switched tractors. The 1586 just was not pulling this trailer through the hills very well. It got a little too heavy, a little too fast. But no big deal. We got the 7250 out to take care of that, so everything is good to go. But once this is done unloading, we'll go ahead and get everything put away, like I said, cleaned up, and start feeding our cattle. Alright, the rain has stopped. We're set up and we're ready to roll here, so we're going to go ahead and get all of our alfalfa mowed and turned into hay. We've got a few hours left here to kill in the day, so plenty of time to get this hay done and get these fields fertilized. Alright, well, we are done baling in the field over here by the cattle barn, and we definitely got a lot more bales this time around than we did earlier in the spring. So we're at 35 bales so far. Pretty happy with that. I did not expect 35 bales off this field, but we are a little low on bale wrap, so we're going to run back here to the home place, reload with bale wrap, and head into our original alfalfa field to continue baling. So we should end up with, well, we usually get like 46 bales out of that field, and we've got 35 here, so 70, 80? Yeah, somewhere around 80 bales, ballpark. Don't make fun of me, my math is terrible. But, yeah. Alright, we're coming up to the end here. I don't think we're going to get enough for another bale, but we ended up with 82. So that will definitely work. 82 bales is a couple more than I thought we would get. So I'm pretty happy with that. We'll go ahead and get this all put away. We are not done baling, however. We do have a lot of stock bales we need to get baled up this year, as we do have a lot of cattle now. So we definitely need plenty of stock bales in order to bed the cattle down, so we will be baling again yet, but we'll go ahead and get this maintenance up, get the tractor fueled up, all that good stuff, and get all these bales picked up and fertilize both of these alfalfa fields. Alright, we got all of our bales picked up, so we are now ready to go ahead and start spreading some manure. These fields won't take very long, so we're going to go ahead and get these hammered out, and I will see you guys in October when we are ready to start harvest. Hey everyone, welcome into October. Starting the month off, doing our chores as usual. We've got quite a bit of feed we need to get delivered in here to our cows this month. We've got 3 loads into this barn and both of our other cattle pens need a load each, so we've got 5 loads we got to get delivered here. Upgrading our feed wagon is definitely going to be a top priority here, but probably not for another year, is my guess, as we are definitely hurting for funds. We're down to $11,709, and we have not sold any of our milk yet. We have sold our garden products and our eggs, but that is it. So we've definitely got some milk to sell. We've got harvest to get started and all of our chores to get done here. So it's going to be a very busy month. I'm sure harvest is going to take, quite a while again this year. I'm definitely excited to see if the upgraded header for beans makes a difference. It should make, I'm really hoping, for quite a big difference, but let's be honest, with it only being like 10 feet wider, I don't know if it'll make that big of a difference. But I'm going to stay hopeful that we can, get harvest done a little bit faster this year. But we've got 4 more loads of feed we got to get hauled into our cattle here yet, so we're going to take care of that. And I'll catch up to you guys when we're ready to sell our milk. Alright, we are officially out of our silage bales. And I hope I never have to deal with those again in this series. But we can now use the silage out of our harvest store here. So that's going to speed this process up significantly. That's a lot faster than, doing it by buckets, that's for sure. Now, I also forgot we have some cattle that we do need to get moved out of the dairy barn and down into our fat cattle lot this month, so that's something else we will need to do. And while we're unloading here, jump the fence, we can see we got a couple new baby Herefords in here. Very, very excited for that. Everybody's looking absolutely fantastic. And apparently, they have numbers on their butt. That's interesting. Definitely didn't realize that was a thing. Yeah, so we've got some brand new baby Herefords. I'm very, very happy with that. So we're just going to ignore the fact that they have, like numbers tattooed on their butt. That's kind of crazy. Definitely not where those go here in America by any means. But yeah. So we're done feeding our cattle. And like I said, we have cattle we need to move. We've got milk we need to get sold. So we're going to get to it. And then the harvest. Very excited for this harvest. I'm hoping it's going to be a really good one. But, we'll just have to wait and see. All right, we've got 1,391 gallons of milk on here. So we are up slightly from last month, which is very good. So we'll go ahead and get this run into the creamery here, get it sold, and then we can come back, grab the pickup, the stock trailer, and get the cattle moved. All right, we're down here at the creamery. Go ahead and get this sold off. All right, so we need to take $230 off. So we're at $15,292. That's good, but definitely not great. We might end up having to sell our bales a bit early this year just to make sure that, we can keep making our loan payments. I'll have to check, crop prices, see what we're looking at here, and, if we can sell. I'm really hoping maybe we can get something sold off in December to just make sure we can get through the winter, but I haven't checked the crop prices for late 1994 or early 95 yet, so not really sure when we're going to sell our crop, but I'm hoping it's going to be soon. But at least we have a lot of bales to sell that can keep us afloat until then. All right, we have 2 of our calves on here that are ready to be weaned. And in the next few months, we're going to have quite a few more. Definitely had a lot of bull calves this year so far. And that's a good thing. Definitely gives us more cattle we can sell as fat cattle in the future here. So very happy with where we're at, honestly. Things are going quite well in the cattle department. And, you know, chickens are chickens, I guess. We're not really making a whole lot of money there from the eggs, but, you know, they're not really costing us any money either. I know I haven't really showed them off much because, you know, there's just not a whole lot going on there. And as you can see, our fat cattle lot is starting to fill up a bit. So we've got quite a few out there. There's a few that are going to be ready here in a couple of months, but they're not quite there yet. So we do have, you know, some options to make money here in the near future. The trouble's going to be making it, you know, to that near future without, you know, going bankrupt here. But we'll go ahead and get this trailer put away, and we are ready to start harvest. All right, well, I'm in the grain cart, Grandpa's in the combine, and we are rolling here in this big soybean field. That header is definitely noticeably bigger, so I'm very happy with that. So it's definitely going to cut down some of this harvest time, and we're not going to use the semi-truck in this field, as the bin is, you know, right next to it, so we'll just take the grain cart over to the auger and dump it in that way, save a little bit of time. And save a little bit of, you know, hours and fuel with the semi here. So I'll catch up to you guys when we get our first grain cart full here. Shouldn't take too long with that bigger header. And yeah, I'm very, very excited to be back into harvest. Harvest is definitely one of my favorite times of the year. And I can't wait to see, you know, how much time we actually cut off harvesting this field. All right, we have our first full grain cart load. So the combine's gone around the field twice, and we've got knocked out a little over half of the short rows here. But we've got 30,834 liters on here, assuming that's 875 bushel. At least it should be close anyway. And yeah, so far things are going well. That bigger header is definitely making a difference. And oh boy, is this grain cart heavy. Definitely thought this tractor would have more than enough power to pull it. That's not exactly true. Now on a harder surface it seems to be doing fine, but through the field it is struggling mightily. But that's okay. Thankfully we don't have a, you know, long ways to go here to get into the bin, and if we get switched up to the semi-truck, that won't be too bad either. So trying to get this lined up here. All right, well, I did end up having to get the semi out because this grain cart just absolutely would not unload into the auger. So we will fill the hopper, unload the hopper, top it back off again, and yeah, interesting. Not really sure why it wouldn't just go ahead and unload, but it definitely wouldn't. So I think, yeah, we can unload straight through, so that should work out. All right, well, we ended up getting another 5,285 liters off this field, so we'll go ahead and get this dumped into the bin, and then we can see how much we actually ended up with here. So we've got 159,455 liters, and that converts over to 4,410 bushels. So I'm very happy with what we got for beans. So we're ready to switch everything over to corn. So we'll get the auger moved, get the combine switched over, cleaned out, and ready to rock and roll in our cornfield. All right, we got everything switched over. Got the auger moved over to the bin, got the truck moved over to the auger, and we got the combine switched over. So we're going to go ahead and run all of our headlands off here. So with a 16-row planter and an 8-row head, that means we have 4 headland passes we need to make to get all of our end rows off this field. And once we're done with that, it'll be time to start combining and getting this field opened up. And if you guys remember, we did contour this field. So that means we have to combine this in the same manner in which we planted. So I will catch up to you guys when we get these end rows done, because end rows are pretty basic. Nothing too special about it. But once we're ready to start contouring, I will make sure to check back in with you guys so we can see how doing a harvest in the contour pattern works in FS25 on Iowa Plains View here. Alright, we got all of our end rows ripped off the field here, so we're going to go ahead and start on our contour. This first pass might be a little rough, just due to overlap for planting. But I think probably the best way to do this will be from in-cab view. So we're going to go ahead and dive in here, see if I can pick up a row. There we go. Oof. Maybe not. Okay. So, in-cab view might not be the way to go, at least this pass, due to, you know, all of the overlapping here, but you can kind of see, you know, how this worked. And honestly, I'm pretty happy about it. It worked a lot better than I ever thought it would. That is 100% for certain. Now it's just a matter of, you know, how well can I follow my rows here. Seems to be, you know, pretty good. So we'll take off all of this contour, then we have the ridge we need to do, and then we'll work our way down and finish at the bottom of the field where our flat, you know, kind of the flat bottom area is here. But getting this first pass is going to be a little rough, and I am going to go ahead and drop a straw swath across this entire field. We need all the income we can get. You know, I've got that big $25,000 loan we got to pay off. And, yeah, that's not good. So, if we look here, looks like I've still got some more to do. Kind of lost track of where I was there in the field. But, yeah, this is pretty nifty how this worked. I didn't know if it would actually work out or not, to be entirely honest. Now, there's definitely a lot of overlap right here. So that is unfortunate, but yeah, we're going to go ahead and run like this for a while. See, you know, how far we get. Now, doing the end rows, I did dump twice on our grain cart, so it's already a little over half full, which is awesome for, you know, just going around the field. Well, technically, we didn't even go all the way around the field, but you know, just doing the 2 passes on the end rows worked out quite well. And we're definitely yielding very well. So I'm very, very happy with that. Well, I went ahead and grabbed the 7250 and the grain cart here. We'll go ahead and get this combine emptied out. That's going to get the grain cart pretty close to full. So we're going to run the combine full again, top off the grain cart. We'll go empty it and continue on through this field. Now, we did not make it very far doing the contouring around here before this combine filled up, so that means our yield is doing very, very well, which is a good thing because we are insanely broke. You know, it says we got $14,000. We absolutely do not. We're like $600,000 in debt right now. It is absolutely terrible. But we'll go ahead, drop this down, and get back to it here.
This California weather, it's like 90 degrees. It's making me hot, and he has the same effect on me. It's just something about the way that he's making me feel. My insides are out, I just wanna shout his name. My body's giving up on me, 'cause I don't know what to do with my fingertips. I wanna run through his hair, but I'm trying not to stare. I get a little starstruck when I see him. I couldn't hate him even if I tried. Am I a little crazy to believe that I could wake up with him by my side? I know I could get his attention if I worked it all out. And we got a little tipsy on a Saturday night. Yeah, I want him and I need him. He's got a one-way ticket to my heart. Ticket to my heart. hands are shaking from the urge of being with him. I act a little dumber when I try to get his number. I'm so nervous that I'm losing grip of myself. My body's giving up on me, 'cause I don't know what to do with my fingertips. I wanna run up through his hair, but don't stare. I get a little starstruck when I see him. I couldn't hit him even if I tried. Am I a little crazy to believe that I could wake up with him by my side? I know I could get his attention if I worked it all out. And we got a little tipsy on a Saturday night. Yeah, I want him and I need him. He's got a one-way ticket to my heart. Ticket to my heart. He's got a one-way. This California weather, it's like 90 degrees. It's making me hot, and he has the same effect on me. I act a little dumber when I try to get his number. I'm so nervous that I'm losing grip on myself. I get a little starstruck when I see him. I couldn't hit him even if I tried. Am I a little crazy to believe that I could wake up with him by my side? I know I could get his attention if I worked it all out. And we got a little tipsy on a Saturday night. Yeah, I want him and I need him. He's got a one-way ticket to my heart. Ticket to my heart. He's got a one-way.
All right, we're going to go ahead and stop right here. Go empty out the grain cart, come back, and get this ridge finished. And I hope everyone can appreciate just how truly, incredible it is that these rows can move the way that they do. And that it's not just straight back and forth up and down the hill. Now they're, obviously a little jaggedy. It's not a nice smooth curve in areas like right there, but it still makes the curve. It still, does contour a bit. Is it 100% accurate? No. But all in all, it's genuinely impressive. So we're going to continue on combining here. I'm having I'm honestly having an absolute blast being able to even kind of contour this field and have the rows, go remotely in the right direction for it. So this is going to be fun. I am definitely contouring throughout the rest of the series anytime we're on a hill. So that being said, I do plan on expanding this farm some more yet, but that is definitely going to be a few years down the road, unfortunately. But first things first, we need to get this thing emptied out, get the grain bin full here, and get back out here so we can continue combining. All right, we're getting pulled up here, and just like we did with the beans, we'll go ahead and dump in the rear hopper. Run up here, get the truck fired up, get it unloading. And everything will unload directly into the bin now. So this is honestly a really, really good system. I'm very happy with doing it this way. And definitely plan on doing it this way for probably the rest of this series, to be completely honest. All right, we have the grain cart and the combine full again. And as you can tell, I got a little indecisive and unsure on which way to combine. And a big part of that was these rows are definitely not growing in the way that I planted up here on this ridge. I did not plant with this much contour to it. I definitely planted it a lot straighter than what the rows are growing up here on the ridge anyway, and it definitely threw me off. So next year when I plant, I'm going to try planting a completely different way and see if it's maybe just the way I planted. Maybe I need to be a little more aggressive with my angle, or maybe it's just the way the corn grows on this field or this part of the field. I honestly don't know, but Now we're back to running a little bit straighter, a little more true to the way I planted. It's still not quite the same direction, but at least we're kind of running some straight rows up here on the ridge like we should be, so I'm pretty happy with that. Just, yeah, trying to figure out the angles has been a bit of a pain. Alright, so we finished up the ridge. We ended up with a third grain cart load. So that's already been taken down to the bin. We just unloaded the combine into the grain cart. And we're now ready to go ahead and start rolling on our contour again. So we'll hammer these rows out. And once we're done with the side hill here, we'll have nothing but straight rows left for down on the bottom here. Alright, the grain cart is full again, and our combine is pretty much full. So we're going to run to the bin site. This is cart number 4, I do believe. Hopefully I haven't lost count already. And, you know, I'd say we're probably 3/4 of the way done with the field. You can see we're, you know, definitely getting there. It's a little slow, but, you know, can't expect a whole lot with an 8-row head. But the yield is definitely good, which is very good, because we're still very, very broke. We need a lot of money, and we're definitely not going to get it all this year. That is for certain. Alright, this is grain cart load number 5, and we're officially done with all of the contour rows here, so it's just going to be straight back and forth to finish the field up. And I'm not sure if we're going to get a full grain cart for what's left in this field. Not sure that it'll be, you know, we'll have a full 6th grain cart, but it's going to be close. There's still quite a bit of corn to get out of the field yet, but we're going to run out of long rows here in just a couple of passes, and everything's going to start, you know, moving into short rows. So, unfortunately, that means a lot of turning around, a lot of wasted time. But it's okay, because we're, you know, we're getting close to wrapping up harvest here. Now we have a ridiculous amount of, you know, corn stalks we need to get baled up. So that's going to take quite some time. It's, you know, 3:15 in the afternoon, so I'm guessing we'll probably be baling into the night in order to get it done, but it's something we have to do because we have got to make some money. Alright, we are officially done with harvest. We had 5,200 liters on the combine here. I'm getting emptied off into the semi so we can get this combine cleaned up and put away. The grain cart is sitting out in the field still, and it is full. So that'll be 6 full grain carts plus this 5,200 liters here. So that was a very, very good harvest. Now we'll go ahead and get this all cleaned up, put away, and then we can get into our baling. Alright, we got everything put away. All the grain is in the bin. Everything's cleaned up, maintenanced. So we are ready to go ahead and start baling. I have no idea how many straw bales we're going to get off this, but I do have the bale counter reset. And I got a feeling we're definitely going to be baling into the night, as it is 4 o'clock on the dot. So we've got quite a bit of baling to do. This is going to definitely take a minute. So we'll get all this cleaned up, get them all picked up, stored, and I will see you guys in the month of November. Alright, welcome into November, everyone. We went ahead and finished baling up all of our corn stalks last month, and it did get late into the evening. We got done about 8 o'clock by the time we got done picking everything up. I went ahead and put stock bales in all of our cattle lots and the barn up here. Or I guess 2 of our cattle lots, the ones that actually have cattle in them, and the barn up here. So they're full on straw. And we ended up with another 65 bales of corn stalks that we're going to go ahead and sell this month. As you can see, we're down to $3,600. Things are not looking great right now. So we're going to have to try and get some things sold this month and hopefully get that other $25,000 loan that we took and get that paid off right away. We'll be sitting just fine if we can get that paid off. So we're going to sell some stock bales this month, probably sell some of our hay bales this month. I don't think we're going to sell everything. I don't want to not have, an emergency stash anyway. Just in case, we need more money for something, or, all of a sudden our cattle really start booming and needing feed. So not going to sell all of it. I still need to check prices. We may sell some corn or soybeans this month. Not really sure. Still got to check prices, see where it's at, but we kind of don't have a choice. We might end up just having to take whatever we can get no matter what. So that's going to be maybe not good, maybe okay. Really not sure. And we have, all of our fall field work that we still have to do, since we haven't done anything other than harvest. So there's plenty of work for us to get done this month. But as always, we're going to start off by doing all of our chores, getting our milk hauled, and then we can worry about selling and doing fall field work. All right, we've got 1,897 gallons of milk on the trailer here. So we'll get this hauled into town, get it sold off, and adjust the price accordingly. All right, we're getting pulled in here down at the creamery, so we'll go ahead and get this sold off. And we need to add $144. All right, so that puts us up to $8,444. So we'll head back, get this trailer unhooked. We need to hook up to our hopper again and figure out whether we're going to sell corn or what we're going to sell soybeans. All right, well, we're pulling into the co-op with a load of soybeans. The corn price is absolutely plummeted, and the soybean future doesn't look like it's going to change much over the next few months, so we're going to go ahead and sell off all of our soybeans. That'll be enough to cover our loan, and then our corn stalks and hay bales will give us a little bit of breathing room that we need to make sure we can keep paying all of our loans and stuff. So we'll go ahead and get this load sold off here. All right, we need to take $31,151 off. All right, we got a couple more trips we got to make down here, so we'll get, like I said, we'll go ahead and sell off all of our soybeans, make sure we get enough to pay off the $25,000 loan I had to take back in either July or August. I can't remember which month it was, but we need to get that paid off. And our soybeans will definitely be enough to cover it, so we'll go ahead and sell all of those. And hopefully our corn price comes back, sometime in the spring or the summer, so that, we're not actually losing money on our corn, because right now the corn price is really, really bad. All right, we're down here at the co-op with our last load. We've got 1,060 bushels on, so we'll go ahead and get these sold off and get our price adjusted one last time. All right, we need to go ahead and take $28,843 off. All right, and that puts us at $35,517. Pretty happy with that. Not a terrible soybean sell, but definitely not as good as last year. And also, that first load I definitely added instead of subtracting, so got that fixed. So we are right where we need to be. We're at $35,517. So we're going to run this back to the home place. All right, we have our gooseneck hooked up here, and it is fully loaded. We've got 26 bales on here. And moving from here on forward, I am going to be using the auto load trailer just to save some time with our operation growing. Loading bales with the tractor is definitely taking quite a while, and this is an easy way to save a little bit of time and not be like ridiculously cheaty. So we will be using the auto load feature from here on out, but we're going to go ahead and get these sold, and we are selling them for $80 a bale. All right, we pulled in down here at the bale sale, so we'll go ahead and get these bales sold off and adjust the price as needed. All right, we need to pull back $6,749. All right, and that puts us at $37,594. So all in all, I think we're sitting pretty good for this month. Definitely have enough to pay that loan off and get us through until at least December here. So I think I'm going to hold off and wait to sell any more bales until maybe we can get a little better price, here in the winter. But we definitely have plenty of fall tillage we need to do. We have a lot of slurry and manure we need to get spread. So we're going to go ahead and jump into that when we get back to the home place. All right, well, I got Grandpa working up in the north field, and he's spreading manure for me. I'm gonna go ahead and spread this lime out. This field is ready for it, so we'll get this whole field limed, and then we can start spreading slurry with the 4786. But first, lime needs to be put down, and we have more than enough slurry to cover everything, I do believe. We don't have as much manure, but I don't believe that's going to be an issue because of how much slurry we actually have. So I'm going to hammer this out with the lime. This field shouldn't take very long, and I didn't have to buy any, and I don't think I'll need to buy any due to the fact that I had so much sitting in the shed. But if we do have to buy some, that means I'm going to have to sell some more bales, because we definitely don't have the money to be buying a whole bunch of lime. But I'm going to go ahead and hammer this out, and hopefully by the time I'm done doing this, Grandpa should be done spreading manure up in the north field. And maybe I can get him started in on running some slurry for me. All right, we got the lime all put down on this field. Grandpa got all the manure spread in the north field. And he's currently running the cultivator up in the north field. The 7250 does have enough power to pull that cultivator. I don't know if it'll do it on, our hilly field or not, but for that nice flat field up there, it definitely will. So he's running that. That's going to save us a bunch of time being able to have him do some cultivating while I'm out here spreading slurry. And we have a lot of slurry to spread. So we're going to do this field and the other big field. Should have more than enough slurry to spread across both of them. And, yeah, so far everything's going pretty well in this department. Just a matter of getting everything put down on the ground before we work it into the ground. So I'm going to go ahead, keep running this. Grandpa's going to keep cultivating, and we should be able to hammer all of this out in no time. So we got all of the slurry spread on the bean field, so we're going to move on to the corn field here, get it spread. Grandpa finished cultivating up in the north field, so he's moved down into our bean field here, getting it prepped and ready to be turned into corn next year. So this is about all we have left for this fall here. There's not going to be a whole lot going on this winter. We're going to sell some bales, but we don't have any animals to sell, and we don't have any corn to sell, at least as of right now. But that may change, and I really, really hope it does, because we definitely need better corn prices here. But we're just going to go ahead and finish spreading the slurry here, finish cultivating, and that'll be about it for this year, and I think this is going to be it for this episode. Hey everyone, welcome into March of 1995. There have been some major changes on our farm, and part of that major change was Walter wanting to sell off some farmland. And I was desperate to get my hands on it because A, it's close, and B, it's very good land. So we went to the bank, we refinanced our farm for $800,000. That gave us $425,000 of money that we could spend to expand this farm. We did buy 4 fields from Walter, and that totaled $142,182. We spent $1,455 an acre. It's pretty close to 100 acres. So that's a pretty big expansion. Now, we also bought some new equipment with that money. So over here, you can see we have a DMI Tigermate. Unfortunately, it is the Tigermate 2, which didn't come out until 2000. But the Tigermate, the original DMI Tigermate, was available in 1995. There's just not a mod for it in FS25 that I could find. But I did find this one. It's very close, and, we're just going to have to go with it, make it work. It's slightly bigger than our old cultivator, which you can see I have sitting here. And we will be using both. We do have a lot of field, or a lot of acres we're covering now, so having two is going to make a major difference. The other major equipment that we bought is we bought a new combine. With the amount of acres we have added, a second combine is a must, mostly just for recording purposes, because it's going to take 12 hours to do harvest with just one combine here. So we went ahead and bought a second combine. I picked up the 2188. This is brand new. From what I could tell, it was first available in 1995. So that is our new combine. Now, unfortunately, in 1995, they still hadn't expanded headers beyond where we're currently at. So we're still running the 28-foot bean header and the 8-row corn head. But both of those are brand new. So the total package for the new combine and two headers was $200,000. Well worth it. It definitely, was made money tight. As you can see, we are sitting at $30,000. And we have about $11,000 a month in payments. So things are going to be a bit tight here. And another equipment change that we made is I went ahead and picked up this Farm King rake, sold off our tedder and our other rake, and this basically came out in the wash. Between selling the tedder and the old rake, they basically paid for this. I think it was a few $100s difference. But this is going to make a huge difference on the farm, as it's a one-pass. It will ted and rake at the same time, which is a little bit more realistic for how things are done around here in Iowa. So as we don't really do any tedding, we just rake it, wait a few days, bale it. So this is perfect. It's going to save us a whole lot of time doing our baling, as it'll save one entire pass around the field, or one entire pass through the field with the tedder. No longer have to do that, so that's going to save us, honestly, probably 35, 40 minutes every time we do baling, so that's huge. Now, if we take a look at the map, if we take a look at the map here, you can see our north field is the same. And the two big fields here right by the home place. We already had those. But these 4 fields here, we were able to purchase. So I'm going to do a bunch of tilling this year, and we're going to combine fields 24 and 25 and 26 and 27. So that'll give us 3 big fields, and I guess I should mention, I'm going to field 1 and field 23 are now going to be plowed together. So this will be 3 separate fields, and they're all going to be good sized fields. So we've got a lot of tillage we need to do. One of the fields has alfalfa in it, so we're going to mow that down before we do any kind of tillage. Make sure we can get as many bales as we can, because we have got to have a lot of bales to sell. And it is pretty profitable for the most part. Aside from changing out the rake, which really didn't cost us much, bale wrap and fuel are really our only expenses into making that hay. We're spreading manure on our alfalfa fields, so we don't really have a fertilizer input cost on that. So I think baling is definitely going to be something we need to stick to and do more of. But for now, we're just going to stick with our 2 normal fields. We've got this one extra field that is like 20 acres or something like that. It's pretty big. So we're going to get a lot of bales off of it. But as always, we need to get our chores done, get our milk sold. And then once we get all that done, then we will be mowing and raking and baling our alfalfa in the new field. That way we can start doing some tillage. Now there's rain coming today, so we are going to be a bit crunched on time trying to get that baling done before that rain hits. But I do believe we will have enough time, especially with, you know, taking out the tedding step. So we'll go ahead and get these cattle fed, get our milk sold, and continue on with the month here. But I am very excited. We also, I guess I forgot to mention, I've already bought all of our inputs for this year as well. So out of that $425,000, I have spent $381,182 already. Now we've made a few months of payments already, so that's why we're down to $30,000. But the only input cost I have not paid for is our ag line. And that's because we're to the point now where buying pallets of lime is just ridiculous. It just isn't going to work. So I did put up a bin to purchase lime on the farm. So we'll just fill the spreader up, and I'll figure up, I can't remember how many liters it holds, but we'll figure up how many liters it holds, convert that over into tons, and price it out that way for our ag lime. You can see it's right there in front of us between the two Quonsets, and that's how we'll be getting our ag lime from now on. But I've already got all of the herbicide, the seed, and we should be good on fertilizer. I don't think I'll need to buy any. Between what we have on hand for our solid fertilizer that we can spread, plus the slurry and the manure that we have accumulated over the winter, we should be able to fertilize all of our fields, no problem. But we'll worry about that here later on today, as we have a whole lot of work we got to get to first. Alright, so as I'm feeding our Herefords here, you can see they're all looking pretty good in this pen. And there's only one baby in there. That is the only female that we had this year. All the other calves that were born were bulls. So I got them moved over along with the big bull. The mature bull, I guess, would probably be the best way to put it. They're all moved over here. So all the babies, all the little bulls here will be fat cattle. And I pulled the big bull to make sure that, to try and get more consistent calving instead of having them scattered across like 6 months. I will pull the bull and put him back in when the cows are ready to breed again, and try and get all of our Hereford calves to be born right around the same 3-month window. Make things a lot easier for selling them off as fat cattle. But with our Holsteins, I can't really do that because then we'll go months without milk. And I want to keep milk going every month, even though it does dip a bit throughout the year. It at least gives us something to sell. So we're doing well in the cattle department. It'll be another year and a half-ish before we sell our first Hereford fat steers, but that's long term. All right, we've got 3,520 gallons of milk on. So we'll get this run into the creamery, get it sold, and adjust the price as needed. And I think I forgot to mention, we have not sold our corn yet. We sold most of our bales. I just kept, a few on hand to make sure we could feed our cattle throughout the winter. But that's all sold. We just have corn left to sell, and we do have fat steers to sell this month as well. So we're not going to sell the corn yet. We're going to try and wait until May. The price will be a little bit better in May. But we've got this milk to sell, fat steers to sell, a lot of field work to do. Honestly, this is might end up being more work than we can get done this month. But we're definitely going to try to get everything completed as much as we can here in this month. That way all we have to do is worry about our planting in April. All right, we're down here at the creamery. We'll go ahead and get this sold off. All right, we need to pull $800 back. All right, so that puts us at $39,673. Feeling pretty good about where we're sitting at here. So we'll go ahead, get back to the home place here. That rain is supposed to hit this afternoon, so we should have enough time to get all of our alfalfa baled before that rain hits, so that's what we're going to do next. All right, well, we are officially ready to start mowing, so we got the International 5000 out here, and we'll get this alfalfa knocked down. This shouldn't take too terribly long. Then we'll go ahead and get it raked up and get it baled. All right, we are ready to get rocking and rolling here on baling. So the rake worked out really well. I'm pretty happy with that. So we're going to go ahead and get all of this alfalfa picked up here. And I got a feeling this is going to be a lot of bales, just a lot of bales. So we'll get this hammered out. We got about an hour before the rain starts, so hopefully we'll have this finished before then. And then we can get on to probably selling cattle if the rain hits. And if the rain hasn't hit yet, we'll start doing some tillage and getting some fields combined into bigger fields here. All right, we're finishing up baling here, and it has started to rain, but I was close enough. I'm just pushing through just to get it done. We've made 130 bales so far. We might make one more. It's going to be close. But yeah, 130 bales. My goodness, that's a lot of bales. So we'll get this last little bit picked up here, and it is not enough for another bale, and that's okay. We have God's plenty. So we're going to go ahead and get this drug back to the home place, get it cleaned up, maintenance stuff, put in the shed, and then we'll hook the pickup up to the stock trailer and start hauling cattle down to the sale barn and get our fat cattle sold off here. All right, we got 11 cattle loaded up on the trailer here. So we'll get these guys taken down to the animal dealer and get them sold off. All right, we're down here at the animal dealer, so we'll go ahead and get these cattle sold off. All right, we got them sold off, and we definitely need to make an adjustment here. So we've got to drop $20,645. All right, so we're at $50,676. So in the year 1995, for the month of March, cattle were selling at $68.20 per hundredweight, and we had 11 cattle. Just figure average them out at 1,500 pounds each. So that brings us to a profit of $11,253. So that's why we took the $20,645 off. And I'm pretty happy with where we're at. So we've got plenty of corn we still need to sell yet sometime this year. That will probably be in May, is the way the crop prices are looking. So I'm going to go home, unhook this trailer. We'll hook the gooseneck trailer up, get those bales picked up, and hopefully by then it's done raining, and we can get started into the field. All right, it is almost 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The rain has finally quit, but we've got a lot of chisel plowing to do here. I'm going to start over here. I didn't make this straight with the bins when I originally extended this field, and honestly at this point I don't remember why, but at the time it made sense to me, but now it is just kind of annoying. So we're going to fix this. We're going to go ahead and start with our 2 big fields that we've had for a while here, get these combined, and then we'll move on to our new fields. All right, we got all of the fields finished. I went down and picked up the fertilizer cart. We got it filled up for the first time here. And doing the conversion, this cart holds 12.46 tons. And that comes out to $499, so we'll just call it an even $500 to make math easy. So it'll be $500 per cartload. So I don't know that we're going to get all of the lime that we need to get done this year. This is going to get very expensive very quick, but we're going to definitely try and get as much done as, you know, our finances will let us do. Now, if we jump up into construction mode here, you can see we definitely added a lot of acres here. So you can see the different ground texture between the plowed ground and the cultivated ground here. So we got these two fields combined together, and I extended the end rows quite a bit. Looks like to be basically a full planter pass, bigger. Added this little cone here. So I'm not sure. I wasn't honestly quite sure how far to go with this. We'll see when I run the planter how big of a pain this is. And we may shorten this up a bit and turn it back into grass. We'll just have to see when we plant. But you can see we ran right along the ridge. When the ridge ended, we cut down. Ran right along the tree line. So this field got significantly bigger. This field over here added that little corner patch there. Yet again, that's another piece. We'll see when I plant if it's, you know, actually worth it. But I want to try and get as many acres as I can here, as we did spend a ridiculous amount of money. And I'm definitely very nervous about our finances. But this is just a big rectangular field. Nothing hard about it. And our third one up here, you can see I added a pretty significant amount of end row to it. And we took down all of the trees that were running the south fence line here. And that added a lot of acres. And we also extended around on the outside over here. So we have a lot of acres to cover here. We'll see how much we can get done tonight before, you know, it gets dark. But we're going to run till I run out of money. So I'm sure we're going to be running quite a while into the night. But I'm going to start as far away from the home place here, or start the farthest field away from the home place here, and just work our way closer every time. So it's going to take us a while to get this far field done, because I'm sure we'll have to fill up, you know, 2 or 3 times at least to get that field done. So it's going to be a lot of driving back and forth. But we're going to go ahead and spread all of our ag lime that we can first. And then we'll switch over to manure and slurry and make sure that we are fertilized as much as possible. That way we are set and ready to plant next month. Oh, and cultivate. We also have a lot of cultivating to do yet. So there's... My goodness, there is honestly a full month's worth of work yet to do. But we're going to start out with lime and just knock it out one step at a time here. Alright, well, I went ahead and hired Grandpa up to finish spreading the lime in the middle field here. He's going to take care of all of that. And I'm going to start spreading slurry, try and, you know, save up a little bit of time here getting 2 jobs done at once. Now, the nice thing is, all 3 of the 4 fields, I should say, are fully fertilized already. So we only have to fertilize what we plowed up. Now, the alfalfa field that we just mowed will have to be fertilized, so that's going to take a little extra time. But as far as the rest of it, it won't take that long to get this fertilizing done, as, like I said, we only have to fertilize what we plowed up. Everything else is good to go. So basically, 1 pass around the outside of this field, 1 down the middle, maybe 2 depending on how wide it was, and this will be fully fertilized and ready to be cultivated. So honestly, we're making pretty good progress. Definitely running out of daylight here. It's, you know, already 5:45, so we're definitely pushing it as far as daylight goes, but good thing all of our equipment has lights on it. So we'll go ahead and get this slurry done, and I'll keep an eye on Grandpa. I will have to refill the cart for him, but other than that, he should be able to handle getting that lime spread down in that field, no problem. All right, we got all of the fertilizing and lime down, so we're going to go ahead and get to cultivating here. So I've got the big cultivator, the new one on the 4-wheel drive here. And Grandpa is running the old cultivator with the 7250. And I did not spread lime in this field or the north field. I'm going to wait until next year to do that. But we ended up doing 7 cartloads in total. So that was not too bad. Honestly, less than I expected. I kind of figured I'd have to do 10. But, you know, it was still expensive. So that was, what, $3,500 worth of lime that we did. So, you know, definitely not cheap. But well worth it. Making sure that we, you know, can maximize those 2 fields. Neither one of these fields that we, you know, originally owned need lime this year. They're okay, so we're gonna wait and do both of those next year and try and kind of rotate. That way, you know, we're not doing a whole bunch of lime all in 1 year and then nothing for 3 years. We'll just kind of rotate them out here. But I'm going to do some spot cultivating in this field, and then I'll move to one of the other new field that Grandpa's not in when I get this spot cultivating done. That way I can get it finished up. So we're going to work through the night, get this finished up, be ready for planting in April. So I'll see you guys in the morning. Hey everyone, welcome into April. We got all of our cultivating done last night. Worked till about 10 o'clock, but got it all done. So we are ready to plant this month. We're going to start out doing our chores like we always do. Haul our milk, get it sold off. And then we can get to planting. We have a whole lot of fields to plant this year. I'm super excited about it. We've definitely got... definitely got a lot of acres. I'm very happy with how far we've upgraded. But we're going to go ahead and jump out here. Take a look. We've got 67 animals in this barn now, so we are growing steadily. And, you know, it's been a while since we've come out here and joined the herd. Taking a look. See everybody looking happy and healthy. Got some babies out here. Got some juveniles. And we've got a lot of adults. And everybody is doing wonderfully. And I have to say, the fact that they got it so that, you know, they don't all have the same spots is incredible. There's definitely individuals out there, and it looks great. But we're going to go ahead and finish feeding up our cattle here. This is enough for this barn for this month. And we need to take some to our Herefords and to our fat cattle lot for the Holsteins. Then we can go ahead and sell our milk. All right, we're going to go ahead and get our Herefords fed here. And we did have 2 new babies in this pen last month. So you can see one of them right here. Got ourselves another little male. And a little female. So we've had 2 females so far. So this herd is going to grow slowly. But that's okay. That gives us plenty of cattle to... sell off here in, you know, another year and a half or so for our fat cattle, so we'll at least make profit. But this herd this year is not going to grow very fast, but that's okay. All right, we're going to go ahead and get our fat cattle pen here fed up for our Holsteins. You can see we don't have any big ones out here anymore since we sold them off last month, but these guys are doing absolutely wonderfully. They're all very happy, very healthy. And, I'm very excited with where we're at with our cattle herd. It's definitely going very well. The realistic livestock mod is very, very good. I'm enjoying it immensely. And it did just have an update, so now there's diseases, I believe, and a few other changes. I haven't really delved too deep into it. I went ahead and turned the diseases off since they weren't a part of this series to begin with. And honestly, I just kind of want to experiment with it before I, go full bore into it. So we won't have to worry about diseases in this series, but it is something we will have moving forward in future series on this channel. But for now, we're just going to kind of leave it where it was and go from there. All right, and that is it for our chores this morning. You can see our fat cattle pen here for our Herefords. Everybody's looking good. Don't pay attention to the cow that just walked through the concrete wall. That's definitely not supposed to happen. You gotta love video games. But we're gonna go ahead and get our milk loaded up into the trailer and get it sold next. All right, we've got 3,143 gallons on. So we'll run this into the creamery, get it sold off, and as always, adjust the price accordingly. All right, we're down here at the creamery, so we'll go ahead and get this sold off. And we need to pull back $135. All right, so we're at $43,645. So that takes care of all of our chores and selling for this morning. So we're going to head back to the home place, get the planter drug out of the shed, get it loaded with seed, and get into the field. We have a lot of planting to do, and I'm super, super excited to get started. All right, we're up here at the home place north. We're going to plant this as corn, and we're going to plant the home place as corn, and the two new fields will be planted to soybeans this year. So we're going to get this thing fired up, drop it down, get a row marker out, and get to planting. So this field won't take very long. I'm kind of excited to see what the home place does and how long it takes now that we've combined both of those fields, as well as the two new fields. But we'll go ahead and get this hammered out, and I'll catch up to you guys when we get this field done. All right, it is exactly 9 a.m., and we're starting here at the home place. We got home place north already finished. So I'll be curious to see, how much time this takes to plant. Now, this 16-row planter definitely makes a huge difference over the planter we originally had in this series. So I don't think this will be too bad. Should have plenty of time to still get our spraying done yet this month. But I'm excited. This is going to be awesome, seeing this big of a field, all corn, seeing the other two fields as beans. I'm super excited for this. So we're going to go ahead, get this hammered out, and see how long it takes us to get this finished. All right, it is 11 o'clock on the dot, and we are finished with our corn. We're finished planting our corn, I should say. So yeah, this field took about 2 hours. Big part of that was I did decide to do the contour again. So trying to, essentially wing it and figure out how I wanted to contour it this time to try and clean it up a little bit compared to last year. Took me a little bit more time. No big deal. The next two fields will go significantly faster as they're very basic. And we'll just be doing straight back and forth on those fields. So the next two fields are going to be soybean fields, and we'll go significantly faster. So I'm going to back this planter up here. We're going to grab the seed, get this thing topped off again. And I'm guessing we'll probably have to fill this twice with the size of those two fields. No big deal. We have plenty of seed on hand. So I'm going to go grab that. We'll get this thing filled up and start planting in our soybean field. All right, we are over here in our soybean field, so we'll go ahead and get fired up, drop it down, get our row marker out, and get to planting here. Like I said, this field will go significantly faster than our big cornfield did, but still going to take a bit. Definitely a good-sized field. We have really, really expanded how many acres we're covering, and I'm very excited for it. So we're going to get these soybeans hammered out and get to spraying, because that's also going to take a hot minute. A lot of work to get done yet this month, but definitely worth it. All right, well, I ran back here to the home place to pick up some more seed. We're just about out in the planter. So we're about 3/4 of the way done with our first soybean field here. So this should be more than enough seed to get us finished, but I just wanted to be sure. Oh no. All right, so I just wanted to be sure we had enough on the pickup. We'll ignore the fact that something just happened to the poor pickup. But I think we'll park it right there. Probably shut it down. I guess we don't probably need it running. So we'll get this backed up here. And start filling the planter again. And of course it's not taking the short pallet. There it went. Alright, so we'll get back to planting, and should be wrapping up here pretty shortly here on this farm. Alright, we got the old Massey Ferguson sprayer out here. So we're going to go ahead and get these fields sprayed. We'll spray them in the same order that I planted them in. And just like last year, I'm not going to contour with the sprayer because it doesn't matter. And it's just a lot faster going straight back and forth as opposed to trying to, actually follow the rows. That's one nice thing about FS25. You can go up and down the hill and get away with it. But as far as planting goes, seeing those rows growing in, the contour as opposed to straight up and down the hill is a much more pleasant view to my eye, much more what I'm used to, so that's why we're planting it that way. And it does make it a little bit more fun. It's a little more time consuming, but it is more fun. So we'll get these fields all sprayed, and hopefully I have enough herbicide. I ended up having basically the exact amount of seed I needed. I think we had like 800 liters left over or something like that. So yeah, pretty happy with, that, and hopefully I got the figure right for the herbicide here. All right, we're just finishing up here. And this field is done, so we're going to fold up. I'm going to go ahead and reload with herbicide, and we're going to get started into the home place field here. And like I said, we're just going to go straight back and forth on it while spraying. Try and get this done a little quicker. As, it is coming up on 2 o'clock already. Time is absolutely flying by this month. But not a surprise, not with how big our fields are and how much work, we're actually having to put in here. All right, we are reloaded, and we're getting the home place field sprayed here, and we'll just keep working our way on down, field by field. All right, we got this big field done. We've had to refill twice. So we're going to go back, top off again, head to our next field, and get it done. So far everything's going quite well. It's almost 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Next 2 fields should go pretty fast. They're not quite as big as this one. And by pretty fast, I mean faster than this. Welcome into May, everyone. We ended the month of April by getting all of our fields sprayed, and they are looking absolutely fantastic today. No weeds growing in any of them. Very happy about that. So we're going to go ahead and start off with our chores. We need to get 3 loads of feed up here to our dairy barn. We've got milk to sell. We've got corn to sell. And we've got alfalfa that we need to get knocked down and turned into hay. So we've got plenty to do this month. Definitely not quite as busy as last month, but I'm pretty okay with that. Last month it was very stressful with the amount of planting we had to get done. But like I said, our fields look absolutely fantastic. And I'm very, very excited for what this fall might bring. But for now, we need to get all of this feed hauled up here, so we'll get that taken care of, and then we'll jump into selling our milk. All right, we've got 2,859 gallons on, so we'll go ahead and get this run into the creamery, get it sold, and as always, adjust the price accordingly. All right, we're pulling into the creamery here. We'll go ahead and get this sold off. And we need to add $120. All right, so that puts us at $40,845. That's pretty good. So we'll head back to the home place. Need to get some fuel in this semi, and we'll hook up to the grain trailer and start selling off all of our corn. All right, we're getting pulled in down here at the co-op, so we'll go ahead and get this load sold off here. All right, we need to take $22,354 off. All right, so that puts us at $43,537. We've got quite a few trips to make here. I'm guessing, what, 4 or 5 loads here. So we'll go ahead and get these hammered out, and I'll catch up to you guys on the last one. All right, we're getting pulled in here with our last load of corn. We've got 778 bushels on, so we'll go ahead and get this sold off. All right, we need to pull back $15,111. So that puts us at a grand total of $53,373. I'm very happy with that, so we're going to run this back to the home place, get this parked, and it's time to start knocking down our alfalfa so we can get it turned into hay. All right, we're up here in our alfalfa field. We'll go ahead and get all of this mowed down, get it raked, and get it baled. Shouldn't take us too long here. Definitely not as long as the alfalfa we did earlier this year in our new field. So that's, kind of a double-edged sword there. It's nice and won't take as long, but also kind of sucks we're not going to have as many bales. But at the same time, we really don't need that many bales. We're just kind of, at this point, baling up, bales to sell, try and make a little extra profit, so every little bit counts. All right, we're coming up here towards the end, and we've got not enough to make another bale. So we've got 85 bales in total, which is more than we've ever gotten. I don't know if that new Farm King rake is just more efficient and collecting more of the alfalfa, if using the manure to fertilize is making a difference, but something is definitely making a difference. I don't know what, but I'm not really going to question it either. I'll definitely take it. So we're going to go ahead and get this cleaned up, get it put away, grab the pickup, get all the bales picked up, get them stacked. And that is going to be it for the month of May, and also the end of this episode. So if you guys like what you're seeing, please make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode.